of the 12th Parliament. We had invited you to update the honorable members on the operations of CAA, their status, and the challenges, if any. So this is more of an introductory meeting, but of course there will be follow-up meetings. We want to understand everything, including your project files. We shall need the project file for the upgrade of the perimeter road and to bitumen standard. We shall need the construction of the new terminal building at Chisoro project file. We shall need the harmonization of the passenger terminal, old and new file. We shall need the Ginger Airport contract file. These are issues that have come up in the Auditor General in the past. So we are going to write an issue letter requesting for all these specific. So we shall handle issue by issue. There is also the expansion, upgrade and expansion of the departure lounge contract file. We want to understand all these. The members will prioritize, so you'll be coming back to handle issue by issue. But otherwise, I want to welcome you to this committee sitting and give you an opportunity. Honorable Julius Maganda, I'm happy you have been appointed. We were together in the 10th Parliament. Congratulations. You just came back and fell in things. So without wasting much of time, can we have a copy of your presentation distributed to each member of Parliament? We have?
Chair, we already have it.
I don't have it. No. Honorable members, do you all have copies of the presentation? Can we resume? Okay. Honorable Minister, please start.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank you once again for this meeting and thank all the members of the committee. This is our first interface with the committee, and definitely it's a meeting which we believe is going to inform us on our portfolio as a ministry and as an agency, and also guide on how our strategies are set, and from there as a committee that is supposed to oversee our performances and implementation of our programs, we will be able to pick out on areas that you can guide us basing on how we could have also presented our case. So this morning, I've moved with my team, very able and eminent people who have been in the ministry and the agency, UCCA. They will be giving a presentation, and Honorable Chair, I believe some of the items that you have captured in your opening remarks, we shall talk on some areas, but those areas that you find that you would wish us to come back, we shall be very ready to come back, even if it means us coming tomorrow. And we want to thank you once again for the reception and the opening remarks that you have given, appreciating our readiness to be with you a bit early. I want to commit that this will be a different approach of leadership, where we shall always be more earlier than the Committee of Parliament here. And even if it means me being here alone, you will find me alone here and my team will be following me, because with the time, if you tell me 9, Mr. Chair will be here at 9. And I want to thank you once again. Probably we shall improve also as a members of Parliament slowly, so that we allocate what our role and responsibility is before we even put some other things out. So I want to invite the Director General to give a remark and see how he can take us through the
I didn't understand, Minister, your last statement. You said members of Parliament should improve?
Chair, he said we shall improve, so that we can be time conscious to see that we can implement our mandate in time.
Were you referring
but
to
also I referred to myself alongside with my colleagues.
Okay.
Yeah. But Mr. Chair, I was also trying to pick on where you said that we're a bit more earlier than the members. I think some of
No, I thanked my members.
Anyway, just a cut.
So you withdraw that statement. We are never late.
Mr. Chair, I will do the statement. I thought you would begin with a courtesy of being very free to each other, but otherwise I just want to say I did not mean to say that members are late. I said we can keep improving. Yeah.
Honorable Chairman and members of Parliament, through my minister, my name once again is Olive Birungi Rumonya, Acting Director General. On behalf of Uganda Civil Aviation Authority Chairman, allow us to extend appreciation for this invitation that we received from you. To us, consider this committee as a great opportunity because it gives us that opportunity to interact. We have an opportunity to share because this is the heart. This committee is the heart of what we do every day because it's infrastructure, and the airport and infrastructure are synonymous. So thank you so much for this opportunity. We listen to your remarks, the files that you have requested for. I want to confirm to you, Chair, that we will avail all the required information as and when it's required, and we'll make ourselves present whenever we are called upon. Chair, just to give a brief overview, we are starting this interaction, but I must say on a good tone, because CAA, where we stand today, there's a lot of progress that we are proud of. One of them that I'll talk about is the growth traffic, because you can't talk about an airport and traffic is low. Today, as we speak, Chairman, the traffic numbers over the years have been growing, and as we speak today, we are completing the new terminal building that you've requested for in order to respond to the traffic numbers that are increasing from 1.5. They're trying to predict the 3 million passengers per year. Chair, the other one, the CAA is highly regulated through the International Aviation Organization, and this is standard globally. I'm happy to say that we've just conducted, the last 2 years, we had the global audit. We had what we call the safety audit and the security audit that rates the country's level globally. I'm happy to say, Chair, that as we start this meeting, we are confident because our grades, our rating was very high, higher than the region in those audits. So that also starts us on a good level. Chair, I will also add that a lot of investment has been placed in the aviation industry in the last few years, because one of the issues that has been raised by most of the members and the public is upcountry aerodromes. We'll be able to share with you, Chair, the progress we have had on upcountry aerodromes, because initially the focus used to be Entebbe International Airport only, but we are happy to note that today we have already advanced a lot and progress on upcountry aerodromes. We also have the Kabalega, Chair, that is coming along. So I just wanted to give an overview, but I'll ask our Director of Finance, who will take us through the detailed presentation that you have. This presentation and our performance, Chair, is hinged in a strategic plan. We have a business plan, and we have made sure that it actually interacts and connects to the National Development Program 4. So I'll request Hassan, Chair, take us through, and will be available to respond to any of the issues that will be raised. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Accounting Officer. Honorable Chair, honorable members, through the Minister, and my supervisor. Once again, my name is Hassan Musenguzi, Director of Finance. I will take you through the major highlights of the presentation. And I begin by the first slide is on mandate. As we all know that Civil Aviation Authority was established by an Act of Parliament, CAP 348, as amended in 1991, with the main objective of promoting safe, regular, secure, and efficient use and development of the civil aviation inside and outside Uganda. Under this, the Act gives us the key functions, the first one being advisory to government on the aviation industry. The next is regulation of safety, security, and how to do business in in the air transport. The next one is management and development of the national airports in the country. And the last one being provision of air traffic and navigation services. Here, you know very well that Uganda Civil Aviation, unlike other countries, is a 3-in-1. We have the civil aviation, the regulator. We have the civil aviation, the airport operator. We have the civil aviation, the provider of air traffic and navigation services. Our vision that motivates us to work is a leading provider of safe, secure, and sustainable civil aviation service, with a mission to maintain the highest standards of safety, security, and service in the civil aviation. Our overall goal is to improve safety, security, reliability, and quality of service in the civil aviation. Chair and honorable members, you'll note that the key catchword here, there are two: safe and secure. So when we are executing our mandate as guided by the International Civil Aviation Organization, that's what we look at. And that's what motivates us to work, to make sure that the users of the air transport are safe and secure all the time. Honorable Chair and members, in pursuit of the overall goal, the strategic objectives that set the agenda of the organization in the next 5 years are: 1, to develop, harmonize, and ensure compliance with the civil aviation policy, legal, and regulatory framework. This one normally comes number 1 as a regulator. We not only regulate our own, but also the other operators who are associated with the industry. 2 is to develop and upgrade the maintain sustainable aviation infrastructure. Of course, you cannot, as I've already said, that we are also an operator. We need infrastructure that meets the global standards at any one time. To build and strengthen the economically viable civil aviation industry, and we are proud of that. At the moment, I think we are almost economically viable, as we shall see in the presentation. The other one is to strengthen CAA's institutional capacity and also to foster collaboration with other stakeholders. Those are the key objectives that are embedded in our strategic plan 25-26 to 29-30 and incorporated in the National Development Plan 4. How do we link in the NDP4? The goal of the NDP4 is to achieve higher household income, full monetization of the economy, and employment for sustainable socio-economic development. And we are all aware that the NDP4 identified 18 programs, and which results under 4 broad clusters: production and value addition, social development, and enablers and governance. Now, CA falls under the 3rd cluster, where we have enablers, contributing primarily to the integrated transport infrastructure and services, whose leadership is in the Ministry of Works and Transport. How do we align? The next slide shows our strategic objectives, how they align with the program objectives. I may not go in full details of this. Then CA in the program implementation plan, in the PIAP, what have we committed to offer this country in the next 5 years? Now, to ensure the operationalization of the NDP4, the program implementation action plan, as well as the strategic and development plans of the various ministries, departments, agencies, and local governments are aligned to the NDP4. And our commitment there is, UCA has developed a 5-year strategic plan to address this, with the key interventions: 1, upgrade of Entebbe International Airport, phase 2. Honorable Chair, you have asked details of the phase 1, which will be given, but we also now to begin embarking in these next 5 years, phase 2. Operationalization of Kabalega International Airport. We are all aware that physically the airport is almost ready. Now we are moving into the phase of operationalizing it. Rehabilitation and upgrade of strategic infrastructure, including regional aerodromes, where we have Arua, Gulu, Pakuba, Kidepo, Kisoro, Kabale, and Kasese, to support the tourism sector. The other one is decouple the aviation industry regulatory function from the management and operation of the airports. We have also embarked on the program of separating, because it has been an issue even at ICAO, that there is a conflict of interest. You are an operator, again you regulate yourself. So these are issues that have started coming up, but we have started setting the ground on how systematic that we shall separate the institutions. Develop and implement an aviation master plan for the country to guide the development, the different developments in the industry across the country. Chair, what are these cost drivers for the strategic plan? We are saying in the next 5 years, upgrade and expansion of Entebbe International Airport Phase 2, we are still looking at it in details, but roughly it will cost about 988 billion to have the different infrastructure in the Phase 2 of expansion. Upgrade and expansion of regional airports, we shall need about 968 billion. Operationalization of Kabalega, we shall need this money to operationalize it, about 129. Now, to achieve this plan, we rely comprehensively on resource mobilization strategies, and our major resource mobilization is internally generated revenue. That CAA at 98%, most of our operations depend on our own generated revenue. We also have minimal government subvention that supports the upcountry aerodromes. We're also looking at external financing. Now those are loans. We're also looking at the public-private partnership, those partners who can come and put their money there, and we have a cordial working relationship. Of course, our 5-year plan will be implemented through the annual work plans or business plan supported by the annual budgets. The performance of the business plans will always be reviewed quarterly as required by the PFMA Act. Of course, we also do mid-term review, like in the next budget, 27-28, we shall be already reviewing ourselves. Are we on the right track in the next 5 years? The promise we gave to the country? And at the end of it all, we shall have an end of term report. Chair, the next slide on the executive summary, which begins with 79% overall performance. Here now we are evaluating ourselves on the last financial year. Our overall performance was at 79.7%. We are also aware that this year has not been easy, more especially on the aviation industry. On 27th of Feb, we were hit badly when the war started in Iran. And I can guarantee in the first 1 week in the aviation industry in the country, it was too bad. The unexpected revenue loss was too high. As we were trying to recover from that, Ebola came in. Restrictions on travel. We only read on them, but numbers completely went down. And meaning that even our performance had to go down, our resources had to go down. But nevertheless, by 30th of June, we saw we facilitated 2.36 million passengers. And we had a zero safety occurrence record. Overall assessment, the authority achieved an overall performance of 79.7 for the financial year of our business plan or work plan, with a growth in traffic and revenue, sustained safety and security outcomes, and modest progress on the capital programs despite the challenges facing the industry. We also had issues of a growing debt, and infrastructure delays remain a principal match areas heading into this financial year. Performance summary. We also put a table which has three colors: green, I don't know, this is amber, then red. And we are saying out of our targets we had set in the last financial year, the 121 activities were actually completed at 100%. 74 activities are still ongoing, and majorly these are of capital nature, and the 12% had not yet started. And out of the 12%, one of them was decoupling, separating the regulator from the operator. Of course, the next table looks at performance by strategic objectives, as mentioned above, and we are seeing that on compliance with requirements, we are at 82.5%. And I would also, Honorable Chair, to mention that while we are at 82%, there's one major activity that affects the industry that has not yet been fully done, and that is accident investigation department, that is majorly supposed to be in the ministry. It's not purely with us, but we work together to have it done. It is still a work in progress. And this is how we performed on the different. Actually, all of them were above 50%. The next slide is looks at our revenue performance in details. This is how we charge. We have landing, airport service charge, lighting, and normally our revenue is divided into two. We have the aeronautical revenue, the money we collect that is related to a passenger and a plane. Then we have non-aeronautical, which we normally also call commercial revenue. Now this comes from others like rental, ground rent, handling, car parking, fuel throughput, advertising, concessions, and so on. And you can see that whereas we had an annual budget of 401 billion, our collection was 346.4 billion. That gap, I've already mentioned, that we associate it with the issues that were going on in the world, the Iran war and the Ebola. So you can imagine that our projections were really hit hard in the last 5 months. Our Chair, budget versus execution, whereas we collected 346 billion, our expenditures at the end of that stood at 321 by the end of the financial year. Chair, we also look at what is the percentage of the aeronautical and the non-aeronautical. The world standard says that the commercial revenue non-aeronautical should really be almost 30% or more of the entire budget. Why? The aeronautical revenue normally puts pressure on the passenger. That when you purchase a ticket, their charges will charge you directly, like airport service charge, security. When you use the boarding bridge, you are paying. We try to recover our investment cost through that, and that's the money we use to operate. But if the non-aeronautical goes very low, we may have no option but to increase, and that means you are making your place more expensive. to the traveler. Now, if I'm an investor, if I'm a tourist, I will have to weigh within the region. But, Honorable Chair, we need to state this clearly that we are very competitive with our rates within the region. Actually, Entebbe is one of the lowest in terms of charges. Chair, the next slide just shows the contribution of the aeronautical revenue, where airport service charge, that is a fixed fee on each ticket that is issued. It accounts for about 58% of our total revenue. Security charge is 15%. Then we have air navigation fees, 13%. Landing and parking, 9%. I've already mentioned on the other side, so you are seeing that the contributors to the non-aeronautical, we have rent and utilities, interest on income, car entrance and parking, 13%, handling also 13%. Now, this one takes us to the very interesting bit, the air traffic performance. How are we performing? We have already said that we facilitated 2.36 passengers in the financial year that ended on 30th June. And for us, we saw even a growth. Despite the restrictions, there was growth of 2.5% against the 93% which we had targeted. Commercial movements, aircraft movements, 8.2% growth. Exports declined by 12.1% because we also monitor, we have a state-of-the-art cargo center that is supposed to facilitate the exports through the exports by air and also imports. And we're also seeing imports also declined by 2.7 against the previous period and performance of 96 against target. Key accomplishments during the year. Despite all that, we had a few accomplishments. One, state safety oversight systems were all implemented. State security oversight systems, the accounting officers already mentioned that these first two are being informed by even the last two audits that we held in the last 2 years. So we cannot sit and sleep. We have to keep improving. Effective and functional state safety program developed. We have also the business continuity plan. In the case of catastrophes, how do we move and we don't really create issues? We have seen it. We had Iran, we did not stop operations. We had the Ebola, we have continued to operate. That means our business continuity plan somehow, somewhere has been tested in the last five months without creating unnecessary anxiety to the country. We have use of trainings for the Directorate of Air Navigation and Directorate of Airports. The extension of the passenger terminal building at Entebbe International Airport has been completed. We are now simulating how it is going to be operationalized. Very soon, it will be unveiled to the public and it will be in use. It has been completed. Rehabilitation and extension of Apron 1. Apron 1 is that's where the planes park. It was fully completed. Preparation for implementation of the balance scorecard. Now this is the staff performance and measurement. How do we measure our staff? Supply and installation of 3 additional check-in security screening equipment. This one is also being informed by the audits. We must comply. The worst is if we don't do that, this person is going to the next airport, will also be subjected to the same screening. Now the worst is if there is a gap, maybe an unpermitted item is seen the other side. The question is, how did you leave Uganda? These are questions that, and to come back to the country. Upgrade of the runway, taxiway and apron at Jinja Airfield. They are almost complete. Supply of aircraft recovery equipment. These were supplied. Rescue boats. We also run a marine center. And many others as listed there. Then we also have ongoing projects, completion of ground, first and second floor, and associated works for modification at the passenger terminal building. Current progress at 87. The AGL system for runway 1230. This is the runway that we see as we're approaching the airport after the UN base. We are also upgrading it to be able to operate 24 hours. Before it would only maybe had the capacity to operate only during the day. So the system is being worked on and it's at 56%. Upgrade of airport perimeter road. Upgrade of access road to the new fuel farm. Maybe Honorable Chair and members also need to let you know that the tanks, the fuel farm that you see as you're approaching the airport, that one is being decommissioned. We have a new one that started operation last year, around April, through a PPP process. It is now operational, so this other one has to be decommissioned to pave way for other expansions, and also to make the airport more secure. Otherwise, the fuel was so close to the terminal building. Second layer perimeter fence, it is at 84%. This was also an observation from the audit that the single fence was a threat. Construction of a new terminal building, you have already talked about it, Honorable Chair, asking for the file. It is there at Kisoro. We are now in the phase 2. 1, to support the tourism sector. We are all aware that Kisoro is unanimous with the gorilla tracking. So the issue of this is to make that aerodrome at least be able to facilitate a tour. Instead of sitting for 12 hours on the road, should be able to fly and take 40 minutes. Upgrade of access road to the new fuel farm, that one has already been. Supply and installation of an integrated point of sale, this is to facilitate our commercial revenue. Supply and installation of safety management systems, these are all ongoing. Supply of virtual reality software, these are ongoing. And last, establishment and equipping of the CN's technical workshop. Our Chair, despite of those performances in the last financial year, we also have challenges. And our biggest challenge is the big and growing debt to CA by government and Uganda Airlines. The overall debt as at 30th June was standing at 233 billion from the different government agencies, and notably the government debt at 91, and this 91 billion, the biggest amount is from the UN. We are all aware that we have a UN base in Entebbe. In 2007, government of Uganda entered a memorandum of understanding with the UN to provide those facilities, and government committed to reimburse what would be the charge. But we have not seen this money, and we keep billing. It keeps on growing. The next one is Uganda Airlines debt, which stands at about 90 billion. Actually, as of yesterday, I think they paid like 11 billion. It has come down slightly. But also this is non-payment. The airline is operating. We bill, but we don't see this money coming in. It's our home airline. What do? We have to come back to you, to honorable members, and see how we get this money out. The next one is high cost of developing and maintaining aviation infrastructure. Then the other one is the ever-changing environment with international regulator. If a regulation comes in the US today in the aviation industry, it does not mean that it's for US. Even in Uganda, you have to comply. It doesn't wait. If implementation begins at midnight in the US, even in Uganda, it will be the same time. Of course, we have talked about the pandemics, epidemics that affect freedom of movement. To us, it is a disadvantage. And let's not look at the cost of the ticket, the charge on the ticket only. It is this same traveler who will buy an item in the duty-free. That means if duty-free don't make, we also deny the money. We have a concession. If the aircraft movements go down, that means less fuel is uplifted. We lose. So it is a whole cycle that when these things happen, they affect the entire industry. High cost of training and maintaining aviation professionals. The same aviation expert in Uganda is the same aviation expert required in Argentina, in China. So we also have this risk. You train, another one takes. Of course, limited land for expansion of airports. Chair, now we go to our commitment for this year, which we are assessing on. That is the 2026-27 overview. The focus will be put on the following areas: addressing the youth, the universal safety audits and security gaps which were identified. It is a continuous process. We keep improving. We need to aim higher. Whereas in safety, we're at what? 71? Safety was it? 72.6. And security was 82.17. We want also to be in the 90s or 100. It's not rocket science. We can do this. Infrastructure development, we have already talked about that. We keep improving. And Honorable Chair and members, when we talk of these numbers, already we had a disruption. We are 2.3 passengers facilitated. Assuming we had a normal flow, most likely it would be at 2.7. Our capacity with the expansion stands at, will be at 3.5. But with this growth and 3.5, we were focusing that maybe by 2030. But when we put in these growth factors, we are likely to say 3.5 by around 2029. What does this one tell us? That we do not need to sleep. For to have another terminal, we don't have to wait for 2030. The planning must be now. Otherwise, people will be there. How will you facilitate them? Lounges, where will they sit? So these are things that we are now focusing on. Of course, another major one is improving revenue for the authority, both the internally generated and external, to fund all these, and strengthening partnership and collaboration. The details are in our business plan. An overview of the revenue projection: we project to an income this year of 402.7 billion to be generated as aeronautical revenue 313 billion, non-aeronautical 79 billion, subvention from government only 9 billion, and this one is basically for the to fund the maintenance of the upcountry aerodromes and Kabalega International Airport. Priorities by strategic objective, they are also stated there. That objective number 1 has a number of them. And the most important in this is improving compliance to appropriate aviation security, safety and security standards. And objective 2 is improvement and upgrade of airport infrastructure under phase 2, upgrade of regional airports like Arua, which we think is going to begin very soon. We have Kidepo, which is under a triple P by Sharjah Chamber of Commerce. The contractor is on site. And we think we shall also have maybe 1 other 2 within. Acquire security facilities for the new terminal building. We said it is about to get done, so we are expediting this. As we also do this, we are mandated to maintain a certain category of the fire rescue standards. And as we update this, we also need to upgrade them, because it is also an auditable area. For example, if Emirates is going to land to Entebbe, my brother here has to declare the fire capability that he has on ground. If they tell them that if it is a bit lacking, you will not see Emirates. They have a right to say we are not safe, we can't land. What is that? What does it imply to us? Upgrade and maintain aviation and marine rescue services. We are the lake. If a catastrophe happened in the water, do we have the mandate, the capacity for the rescue services? And also we have enhancement of the ATS surveillance throughout. The other objective 3, we have implementation of the ANS infrastructure, conducted nautical studies. We're already doing this for Kabalega, Kisoro, Barara, and any other airport. They have to be, we have to do those studies and update them as and when necessary. Chair, these are the number of activities that we intend to do. Most of them are informed by the standards and the regulation. Chair, I present the overview.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank our staff from UCCA for the presentation. And maybe, Mr. Chair, before we hand over to you, I will give our DG some opportunity to bring more light on the aspect of the aerodromes and the plan that is before the UCCA.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Minister, and thank you, Chair. You have listened into the presentation, but a lot of emphasis comes in from my first statement where I said the aviation industry is highly regulated. Chair, you could have read in the newspapers the last 1 year where some countries, their national airlines have been banned from flying to Europe. And once the national airlines banned, all the other airlines registered in those particular countries are actually banned. And that process can take you up to 5 years or above. So the regulation, the compliance is one of those critical matters that we consider high. We invest a lot in it. You'll also see that Uganda Airlines, to start flying to the UK, we had to comply. They had to come in to confirm that actually we are complying according to the ICAO regulations. Chair, he also mentioned decoupling, the separation. The separation of the service has been one of the main issues that has affected Civil Aviation Authority in Uganda. I think most of the countries globally have separated. You have the airport and CAA sitting together. So who judges who? So there's been that gap, and right now as we speak, Chair, starting from last year, we got a consultant from ICAO. The consultant has conducted a very comprehensive process. Interviews have been conducted. The consultant has met the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Works, and we believe that as time goes on, we'll be coming back here where necessary to be able to share any other. But I want to request, Chair, that we have just 1 or 2 minutes to allow the General Manager, Upcountry Aerodromes, just throw some light on what is going on in the aerodromes around the country, because we are responding to the call of tourism. You cannot actually achieve the goal of the country on tourism if the aerodromes are not running in tandem. So I wanted to request through you, Chair, if you can be given a few minutes to just take us through status of each aerodrome in the different parts of the country. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and members of Parliament.
But just a minute. But why didn't you submit this in writing? Because I'm sure members would be interested in knowing the status of these aerodromes. Why did you have to come verbally?
Chair, I want to apologize for that. We noted that it's in, but not so detailed, because in the beginning, when we thought of the interaction, we knew there would be other opportunities to come in and discuss one aspect at a time. Like you indicated, Chair, that you'll be inviting us. So allow us, Chair, still to go back and submit that in writing or in detail. And we can do that today because we have it with us, Chair.
Members, how would you want to proceed? Honorable Walswaka?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Now that our honorable colleague, the minister, is here, and our sister has begged, since these village aerodromes belong to us, can they present? But later, then, when you submit the minister and you append the signature, because the officer may just be talking when we bring the minister to book, but he would like to hear some of us, like in Tororo and all the national aerodromes, on behalf of PLOU. I want to see how we are planning. Thank you, Chair. I beg your
Anyone with a
indulgence.
contrary view on whether he should present? Okay.
Chair, just a little addition, but concurring with the Honorable James, in that kind of submission, could they make a classification between aerodromes, airfields, and airports as far as the service levels are concerned? Thank you.
Fine. Okay, thank you.
Honorable Nambeshe?
I wouldn't want to be at odds with my colleagues, but to engage from an informed position. And it is a practice, Mr. Chairman, that we ought to have this information circulated to us. And if we bend our own rules today, it may eventually get us on the wrong side tomorrow. I'm of the considered view that the good information, and even expanded by your vice, would better be penned down and circulated to us so that we engage from an informed position.
Yes, Honorable Batan?
Thank you, Chair. From that side of the practice, on this side, we'll be in danger if we accept to receive information, verbal, and the information that should have been put in the detail but left out deliberately. If not left out deliberately, I find it out of order to ask a person to make a verbal presentation when the technical side from Parliament made clear requests for substantial information. So, Chair, I want to agree with the Honorable Nambeshe and the practice. Even yesterday we said this, that we should not be given information on short notice, and now today we are making it worse to accept information verbally. I beg that, honorable colleagues, we set a precedence if we will be taken serious as members who want to do our work. Thank you.
Would this Honorable Naebale?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Chair, if I heard our guest, the lady, properly, the DG, she said there was information, but it was not efficient enough, maybe. They wanted to substantiate on what they had earlier given us. So my plea to our colleagues would be, if we would allow her and the team present as their technical team is working on the written information and they hand it to you, Chair. By the time they get done, you have the information. because she's just substantiating on what we already have.
Okay, honorable members, if we were to assume that he should abide by our procedure and submit a written document, would this mean you are not going to ask any question related to regional aerodromes today? No. Because if you are going to ask those questions, you will need that information. Honorable Nathan?
Thank you, Chair. I would want to request my colleagues, the fact that the Civil Aviation has come even with the Minister today, and they are willing to tell us an overview of our aerodromes all over the country. Let them tell us, but of course, as we have been assured of bringing us the detailed information. That one will supplement. They are already here. We should receive them, let the man tell us, and then we shall have to ask some questions, which will be different. Data will be supplemented by the actual information on paper. So I thank you.
Is it by consensus that you have questions related to those aerodromes?
Yes.
Therefore, we receive some, but they should be, Honorable Minister, you know how Parliament operates. I hope this is the last time. This committee will be ambushed. So can we receive what he can give us to facilitate your questions and get a written extensive document in regards to these aerodromes, the status, the funding, and any other information necessary. So you can, luckily, you can proceed.
Chair, I just wanted to add additional request that in their presentation on aerodromes, we also have helipads. It would be good to tell us also about air safety for helicopters. We've seen people coming and landing with helicopters in schools, in different places. Right now, Uganda Heart Institute is also constructing a facility which will have a helipad. So we will want to know whether there are regulations that also guide some of those air transport mechanisms. Thank you.
We want to apologize for this kind of approach which has come while we are already interfacing with the committee. I think the information we had given earlier was not so much detailed, but along the way we realized we needed to give the committee more information. We want to pledge that as you have allowed, the officer can be able to give us some information, and then we shall give a write-up that we shall submit to the committee.
Okay. Kindly proceed. You have about 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament. Through the Honorable Minister, I wanted to inform the committee that the country is served with a number of aerodromes, some of which are operated privately, and there are those that are operated by the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. They number 57 in total. They number 57 in total, and out of these 57, the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority operates 13, in addition to the airport that we are completing in Hoima, Kabalega International Airport. The 13 include Arua Airport, they include Pakuba Airport in the Maxon Falls National Park, they include Gulu, they include Kidepo, they include Lira, they include Moroto, they include Soroti, they include Tororo, they include Jinja. In the western part of the country, they include Mbarara, sometimes they call it Nyaksharara, they include Kasese, they include Kisoro.
Now, we have other aerodromes quite busy, but they are not under the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. Of course, the others we include Jinja, which I had omitted. But we have also Kakira, which is operated privately. There is also by the Madivani Group. There is Kihihi, call it the Savannah Airstrip. It's owned by the Savannah Group, that is the late Musinguzi. And that part of the country is quite a busy aerodrome. We also have quite a number of aerodromes owned by farmers in the tea estates around the country. Chair, in terms of status of the aerodromes, out of the 13 aerodromes, 12 are serviceable, quite operational. And the only aerodrome that is not serviceable is Masindi Aerodrome. We had concessioned it to a private developer who promised that they were going to develop it. Unfortunately, they didn't develop it. And we recently terminated that concession agreement, and we have embarked on a program for rehabilitating Masindi. At the moment, we are under a tender process to rehabilitate that airport. Chair, a number of developments are going on in the country with regard to improving those facilities. Like my colleague said earlier, we resurfaced the runway at Kisoro, but we're also doing a terminal building. The contractor is on site that is going to facilitate tourism. We're also doing a small terminal building within the park in Maxon Falls at Pakuba. We have quite a big project that is coming, and I believe it is now pending Minister of Finance coming to Parliament to approve. We secured an African Development Bank loan of about 155.9 million euros to upgrade Arua. Honorable Chair, Arua Aerodrome is quite very important in terms of location, because it serves a tripartite setting to serve very well South Sudan and the eastern part of DRC Congo and the country. So it's quite, in terms of business, it makes a lot of sense, and we are so eager to have that project implemented. Honorable Chair, in terms of Kabalega International Airport, when we started that project, it was meant to facilitate oil and gas. So the infrastructure we have in place, particularly in terms of terminal operations, was so much limited, because what we have there is a cargo terminal, because that was the focus. However, at the moment, we are working so closely to ensure that we have a terminal building, because it is going to be an enabler for the AFCON 2027. And we are in the process of getting a contractor to start on a new terminal building that must be ready before the games. And we are moving steadily on that. So that's the only component that was missing in Kabalega. Otherwise, the contractor is about to complete phase 1 of that airport. We believe by December this year, we will have started operations in Kabalega International Airport. As for the other airports, as it was stated in the earlier presentation, we will seek for financing to have most of these airports upgraded around. You may have read in the papers the efforts of His Excellency the President to getting investors to partner with us to develop a number of airports in the country. Studies are ongoing to have this actualized, and I think as a committee we'll be reporting to you from time to time on the progresses that we will be making. Chair, like you said, we will be writing a detailed presentation detailing on each of these aerodromes. But allow me just to say one of the issues that the honorable member raised about an airstrip, an airfield, an aerodrome, an airport, and a helipad. And these are generally generic names that are given to different infrastructures that are designed for the landing and taking off of an aircraft. Generally, all these others are aerodromes. Any designated place for the landing and taking off of an aircraft is called an aerodrome. Now, the kind of infrastructure and the complexity of it determines whether it is an airstrip, whether it is an airfield, whether it is an airport. So, for example, if you have just a strip like we used to have Kololo as an airstrip on Aguru, it has no building, it has nothing, that is just an airstrip. So the aircraft will land, it will even park on itself, and then you go to the end and aim and take off. That's just a strip. But an airfield will have possibly a terminal facility, small terminal facility, that with the parking we call an apron, where the plane gets off from that stretch and then parks somewhere and people disembark. Maybe there is a minimal waiting facility. And then an airport will be complex. It will be like a border post. It will have complex systems, terminal building, there is arrival, there is a departure, there is immigration, and so forth. That becomes an airport. It is an aerodrome, but at a complex level. Now, the helipad is just a pad that is really constructed for the taking off and landing of helicopters. And they are also regulated because we, as Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, also approve them. But of course, there are aircrafts that are designed that they can land anywhere, as you know. So if those that are coming and landing in the airfields, in the football playgrounds and so forth, provided the area is secure and the ground is firm, usually people test this and give coordinates that the landing can take place. So those are usually used, but in a true sense, a helipad is also designated and also, authorized by the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. So, Chair, we will be writing this in detail, aerodrome by aerodrome, and we submit to our Minister. Thank you.
Thank you. This juncture will allow members to seek clarification. But just a few questions. You are a regulator for Uganda Airlines. And in that kind of nature, a regulator would be enforcing safety, security, but most important of all, economic rules, not so? Now, Parliament made noise about Uganda Airlines inconsistencies. I remember that was Kosase. So many people made noise, including the President taking action. You as a regulator, can you justify to this honorable committee what role did you play? If any, can you prove that you actually identified these inconsistencies much earlier? I also want to seek clarification on these airfields you have talked about. You have talked about Pakuba airfield. I am aware as of end of last year, 2025, the work there was behind schedule by 6 months. I am also aware the works at Gulu and Soroti were behind schedule by 260 days. That was by end of 2025. For Pakuba, it was just at 56%, but it was already past the intended time of delivery. So you are talking about performance and why have these contracts stalled way past their actual time. You have 20 pieces of land belonging to civil aviation, valued at about 815 billion. But you have never titled this land. Should I assume this is deliberate? You are all seated in your offices. You have land worth 815 billion. You have never titled this land. You also talk about good performance. You got a loan from Exim Bank. You have failed to pay that loan. And now you are pushing it back to government. You're talking about performance. I am aware there's a loan you acquired from Exim. In your presentation, you talked about the dependence on aeronautical revenue is at 80%, and I'm happy you realize that this is a problem. The non-aeronautical is at 21%, the revenue dependence. Can you give us a strategy? Because rightly, like you said, it's going to have an impact, or it's going to put pressure on our travelers. The cost of a ticket. What strategy do you have? Because international standard provides several remedies, like airport cities, like commercial buildings, to help you generate more money and reduce the pressure on the passengers. I'm also aware the departure canopy, this new structure you have set up. The departure canopy at one point collapsed. It failed. I might say it failed. This new structure. I want you to give us more details. Because you are talking about your infrastructure achieved 70%, but you have not told us about the procurement delays. You have not told us about the contractor performance. You have also not talked about project management weaknesses. So we assume everything is okay. Deputy Chair, you have any question?
Thank you, Chair. Especially from the last presenter, initially you talked about Masindi Aerodrome. Then again you spoke about Kabalega International Airport. Is Kabalega International Airport a transformation of Masindi Aerodrome, or they are different? I'm seeking that clarification, because Kabalega seems to be in Masindi also. 2, Adjumani. I have ever landed at Adjumani, maybe airstrip, I don't know. But it's not reflecting anywhere in the literature. Is it part of the assets of UCAL? Or that was a private one? Just for curiosity purposes, I want to know. Because we have ever landed there as we transit to Arua. And then back to the original presentation. Slide number 7, and this slide number 7 is on page 4, and the slide number 30 on page 15. I would like to ask about the important timelines of your procurement. Are the details in the procurement or business plan which you intend to submit to us, especially if you talk of upgrading, mentioning Arua, Gulu, and saying that the work for Arua might start this financial year. Fortunately or unfortunately, it falls in my constituency. You know, now with this privilege of being the deputy chair, people will be curious to know from me how far. There's a lot of information on the social media. Government has acquired this loan for the development of Arua International Airport. People want to know what are the important procurement timelines which we can inform them formally about. And then lastly, Chair, slide 15, this is for upgrading the screen, slide 23 on page 12, bulletin number 1, when you talk of upgrading the screening equipment. I have not traveled so widely, but I've flown out of this country once in a while, and I've also moved locally. When it comes to screening, Chair, especially the experience at Tel Aviv, where I went one time, This business of remove your belt, remove your shirt, remove your coat, remove your what? And then if you are having 2 luggages and you have removed your belt, you now start staggering. You want to hold the trouser. Seems not to be there in Tel Aviv. It seems each foot you put on the ground at Tel Aviv is televised somewhere, and they are able to monitor everything on your body, whether it is electromagnetic radiations or what. This business of remove your belt, remove your what, is not there at Tel Aviv. How different are they from us as far as the development of screening is concerned? Let's stop removing our belts. Some of those things are very humiliating. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Maju.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to join the rest of the team in thanking the Honorable Minister and the team from CAA. I want to once again say thank you for keeping time. We are saying that because of the experience that we've had with other agencies. I have a few questions that are specifically based on the presentation. The first one, I was listening to the Director of Finance. Specifically on page 15 of the presentation, I'm going to refer to page 15, page 6, and page 8 for this specific question. On page 15, you mentioned that the total revenue that you have is about 346.5 billion against the expenditure of 321.2 billion. Now for me, this translates to, I try to calculate your cost to income ratio is roughly 92.7% cost to income ratio. And in any case, if that was any private entity, I think by now it would have closed. Meaning that the authority is actually using nearly about 93 shillings for every 100 shillings that you earn. You use 93 shillings. So you're left with about 7% actually of your available earnings to reinvest. Now at the same time, in your strategic plan, you propose an infrastructure investment of about 2 trillion. 2 trillion infrastructure investment, including the Entebbe Airport Phase 2, the regional airport upgrades. For me, I'm just curious to know how CAA intends to improve its operational efficiency and also generate sufficient internal resources to finance these investments, because we don't have to be overly dependent on borrowing and also to be overly dependent on government support. But also, the Chief of Finance, I think you would be very concerned with such a cost to income ratio. That's my first question. The second question is on regulatory compliance, and I want to thank the DG. I think first of all, listening to you, I get a picture that you have a very clear understanding of your governance environment, and I think you do self-assessments. But for me, on pages, I think it was page 13 and then page 31 to 33. In your presentation, you report a very, very strong performance when it comes to regulatory compliance. In fact, I don't know if that is a self-assessment. You have given yourselves 82.5%. Yet, again in your presentation, addressing the ICAO issues, the Universal Safety and Oversight Audit issues, remains a very significant priority. It's actually in your strategic priorities for the financial year 2026-2027. You also indicate to address these findings within the next 5 years. You say the next 5 years, if I picked you correctly. For the benefit of this committee, could you please provide, I may have missed it, the latest ICAO rating that you have? Because if you're putting your self-assessment at 82.5, it would be good to know where does the regulator place you. Because if the regulator places you below the 85, you would need to downgrade your rating. My third and last question is on infrastructure delivery and your project performance. Again, this, I think it was on page 13, where you're talking about strategic objective performance and then also your ongoing infrastructure projects. I know the chair has mentioned something about it, but I just want to expound it. So in the presentation, you have about 47 activities that are below target. 7 have not commenced. And in addition, you have several projects, including the airfield ground lighting system, Kisoro, and the fuel access road. All this remains significantly behind schedule. Could you also explain the principal causes of these delays? Specifically, it would be good to know how much of those are attributed to procurement, contractor performance, financing constraints, or project management issues. And it would be also good for this committee to know what corrective measures that you have put in place to ensure that these projects, the future projects, are actually delivered on time. I thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Emma.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, thank you. And the CAA team. I want to thank you for coming early, because it is our obligation to be early in time. I might thank you for some other things. First, I want to thank you for surpassing the target revenue collection. That is recommendable. I want to say thank you. You're doing the country well. My questions go to number 1. On the revenue leakages. I've seen from this extract or presentation, you have not told us what's the strategy for the revenue leakages that happen at CAA. Because last time I checked, CAA had a revenue leakage of about 2.6 billion of uncollected revenues. Yet you have not made it clear for us here. Because I expected you to have put it on a completed, what you've achieved. Number 2, I want to talk about the illegal hiring. From page I think 11. No. There's a page. This is where you talked about how you've improved on screening of your staff. So we want to know what's the strategy, how we can, you can tell this committee the strategy you're using to stop this illegal hiring, because it's not good sometimes for committees or maybe the president to always come, or maybe whistleblowers to always identify that they are illegal, employees at CAA. And then the other bit is, I
I don't understand why sometimes when you have a good Samaritan within you, you fire the good Samaritan. Because the last time I checked that you fired a whistleblower, I thought we were fighting corruption. I thought these people are people who should be protected. Must we continue with that? So I believe that sometimes when we find such people, we protect them so that we can fight the corruption. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Emma. Actually, they have about 137 billion in debt. It's now probably more, and of which government entities attribute to over 77%. I'm referring to Honorable's issue of the leakages, and you are failing to collect. Honorable Pio.
Oh. Thank you, Chair, and I want to thank the team for their presentations. In regards to your mandate, we have military airfields and also military aircraft. Does the Civil Aviation Authority also have its mandate over them? And if not, how do you coordinate between the two in terms of ensuring air safety? Secondly, we have, in terms of the airlines, we've seen a number of airlines stop their commercial flights at Entebbe. I just want to know what could be the reasons. Uganda, the Entebbe airport in the 1960s was the largest in Africa. And although it gets concerned if we have some airlines stopping their flights, is it a viability issue or there are other issues? Commonly also I've been seeing what I will call abandoned planes, especially at the UN Air Base. These are planes which are permanently stationed there. They don't seem to be non-functional, but you don't see any identification on them. Do we have, can you just explain about these planes that are in those places? And then lastly, in regard to Anai Airfield, which is in Lera City, what are the plans that Civil Aviation Authority has for it? Lango sub-region is almost centrally located in Uganda, but we've not seen any strong steps to see an upgrade into an airport. But also there's been some issues in terms of compensation of the persons who are present there. We'll want to know how far this has gone and what are the related plans to that. In addition, there are some airlines, and I think you may know them, that commonly are always late. You know, their flights are always delayed, constantly. You travel with them the last 2-3 years, constantly their flights are always delayed. Does Civil Aviation Authority take action in such cases to ensure that, you know, they are really aligned to comply, rather than just giving fines on them? Thank you.
Honorable Jacinta.
Thank you, Chair. I thank the presenter of this report. And on page 15, in regard to challenges faced by the authority, you indicated clearly that the authority is crippled by a debt of over UGX 233.9 billion. If the authority cannot collect this revenue from the very government entities, how can we trust you with your financial projections for upcoming expansions? And I was wondering if this could be an operational failure or a lack of enforcement. As a committee, we also would like to request you to give us a written report detailing a clear and itemized debt recovery plan of the UGX 233.9 billion owned by the MDS, including specific deadlines for their payments, other than you putting under mitigation that you'll continue lobbying to government through the Ministry of Works and Transport. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. My name is once again Achiria Grace Pade Wanzala, Member of Parliament for Butembe. Members from the Civil Aviation Authority, Honorable Minister and the Director General, first of all, I would like to thank you for keeping time and submitting this report. I have two observations which I need more clarification on from the committee, from the Civil Aviation Authority. The report in itself focuses more on financial performance and operational performance. Those look to be more clear. To me, as a Member of Parliament, there is an aspect which is not being brought out clearly. The aspect of the performance of the procurements. We are merely listing them, and we are not really coming out accurately to give us the clear picture. I know by law you are required to publish your annual procurement plans. Could it be important if you came to a committee and you are able to articulate properly your procurement performance in relation to those approved procurement plans, to enable us know your capacity to utilize even the money that you collect yourselves? Because in my opinion, this project was waived, others are stayed, and so on. So in summary, we need in the future, when you say accomplished projects and then you say these ones are ongoing, we rather link it to the approved plans rather than just listing. It doesn't give a clear picture on whether we are performing very well on the committed procurement. I thank you.
Honorable Fred.
Thank you very much, Chair. The officials from UCAA and honorable members of Parliament here present and the technical staff. My name is Jalameso Fred. I'm a Member of Parliament of Ajuri County, Aleptong District. Chairperson, as a committee member, I have identified critical performance gaps and risks that the authority execution of its mandate under Civil Aviation Authority Act Cap 348. And these include the following, but not limited. 1. Unresolved ICAO USOP findings. Number 2, infrastructure delivery performance of only 70%, the lowest among the strategic objectives. 3, capacity to execute mandate at only 67.3%. 4, over-reliance on passenger service charge accounting for 58% of aeronautical revenue. Next, 41.55% of financial year 2025-2026 targets either not started or below 80% implementation. Next, limited clarity regarding the financial and operational performance of regional airports. Next, ambiguity regarding implementation of State Safety Program Level 4. Number last for now, absence of a costed risk register and detailed mitigation measures. Now, therefore, I ask the following questions. In slide 13, the authority uses illustrative placeholder figures. Very nice sounding phrase. Now I'm asking, why is the authority presenting placeholder figures to Parliament? I expect you to table the following. 1, actual financial performance. 2, actual % completion for all the 121 actions you have listed. And lastly, actual cost of delays. Because we have to cost it, actual cost of delays for the financial year 2025-2026. Honorable Chair, on safety program implementation, I have 2 questions to ask. Slide 21 states that the State Safety Oversight System, State Security Oversight System have been implemented and maintained. The authority is therefore requested to table the number of accidents. You said no major incidents. The word major tickles my mind that there were minors. Next, of those minors, which were the serious ones, and the security breaches recorded within Uganda's airspace and at Entebbe International Airport. The next question is, the authority states that the business continuity plan has been implemented. I therefore ask, you state the total number of hours Entebbe Airport operated on backup power during the financial year 2025-2026. I repeat, the total number of hours Entebbe International Airport operated on backup power during the financial year 2025-2026. Then, whether there were any radar or navigation system outages, and table all incidences together with their impact on flight operations. Chairperson, for now, I beg to submit, but I will come back. Thank you.
Honorable Nakato.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, for the presentation. Chair, with me, my name is Nyakata Sinas, the woman MP for Hoima City, but also the Shadow Minister. Chair, with me, have a letter which I would need the staff to pass over to you and a copy to ED. Chair, according to their presentation, they have talked about they are so paramount to issues of compliance and regulation. The letter I've just forwarded to you, with your permission, Mr. Chair, because members don't have it, I request that I read it. Honorable, just
proceed.
Chair, This letter is from the State Civil Aviation Agency under the Cabinet of Ministers of the Kyrgyz Republic. It is a country, the name is complicated, but it is one country in Asia. It wrote to the Director General of Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, Fred K. Bamwesije, and even they copied to the aviation email, Entebbe Airport. It reads, Dear colleagues, State Civil Aviation Agency under the Cabinet of the said country expresses its respect to you and looks forward to joint for the benefit of the aviation industries in our states. The said country would like to inform you that Airbus A300B4-203F aircraft, registration number EX-3004, serial number 126, has no legal grounds to operate flights from December 15, 2025. We draw your attention the following facts. The aircraft is operated by Skyjet LLC. The air operator certificate number 60 of Skyjet LLC was suspended on 15th December 2025, and from March 10, 2026, the air operator certificate number was revoked. Validity of the ESA type certificate A172 for that said craft A300B4, C4 and F4 aircraft expired on February 1st, 2026. On March 3, 2026, the aircraft was officially excluded from the State Register of Civil Aviation of the said Republic country, that one there, you'll see. Despite the above, according to the Flight Radar 24 service, this aircraft continues to operate flights from Entebbe Airport, Uganda, using invalid registration plates of the Kyrgyz Republic. Due to serious threat to flight safety, we ask you, as I conclude, we ask you to confirm the location of the Airbus, that one they have been reading to you, A300B4 203F aircraft at Entebbe Airport, Uganda, and still has registration mark EX-3004. If this aircraft is located at Entebbe Airport, Uganda, under the cage registration EX-3004, please take immediate measures to prohibit the departure of the said aircraft. Thank you for your cooperation, and in appendix they attached a letter of suspension of the said aircraft, but also they also attached a letter of cancellation of the air operator certificate numbers there. The staff will make copies for the members, and the ES certificate information on 2 sheets. They are all on this letter. Chair, having read that letter, the said aircraft is now operating in Uganda under the UPDF Air Forces, and now it has been registered as AF525. It is going to be working here for 1 year, renewable depending on what they will have. The Civil Aviation Authority, what they will have harmonized on. Chair and members, issues of compliance, issues of safety are so paramount, as we have told you, and also as the ED and team have confirmed to us. This same aircraft, as I have told you, it is now operating in the country, having been banned from international flights. Right, Honorable Chair, the said craft was supplied by a company called Alpha MBM. This company today alleges to demand the government of Uganda over 18 billion in the losses that they have incurred by it sitting here in the country, not operational, having been banned on international flights, but here in Uganda, we having accepted to allow it fly in our space, but also very well knowing that as compliance, as a civil aviation which complies to international standards, and the ED, as you said, even if it is past midnight, if USA or any other country says this is the standards that you have put on board, you comply. Right, Honorable Speaker, Right, Honorable Chair, my question. 1. And this letter was received very well by Uganda Civil Aviation Authority on 14th May 2026. It was also received by the Safety, Security and Economic Regulation Department of Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. I want to ask the ED, are you still in charge of that Uganda Civil Aviation Authority? Is your Department of Safety and Security still operational? The same company, as I've told you, they claim now they are demanding government of Uganda 18 billion in losses because it has been not operating, but officially Uganda government accepted to have procured it legally. Don't you think that you're causing government of Uganda financial losses? In your report, I have seen we have an overall debt of 233.9 billion. That is US dollars. Billions Uganda shillings. That is the overall debt. Uganda government is being demanded that one as at 30th April. But also the airline is being demanded, has a debt of 91.7 billion. Chair, as I conclude, this is real causing of government of Uganda financial losses, but also taxpayers' money, but well knowing that the said aircraft has been banned, you are continuing to allow it to operate in our space as Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. Don't you think our civil aviation can be reprimanded any time for failing to comply with an aircraft which has been condemned from flying? Finally, Right Honorable Chair, in the last meeting that civil aviation had with this committee in 2024, where many of us were not members, the civil aviation confirmed to this committee that they are going to probe into a bar aviation company over one of the plane crash that almost costed the death of our speaker, that is the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa. We want this aviation authority to let us know how far did you go with investigating about this craft accident, the cause of the accident, but also what steps have you taken to ensure that the aircrafts which are being which have flights in our space are in a very secure but also safety mode. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Nambeshe, but because members didn't have a copy of this document, I'm sure it's getting a bit confusing. Just help us summarize, Honorable Nyakatu. Does this, because you're the one giving the information,
now
does
the aircraft,
does this aircraft belong to Uganda?
Yes, now it is now, and now it was registered now under the UPDF Air Forces. And
but is it an aircraft owned by Uganda?
Yes, yes. It is operating as AF, under, that is the registration number now it has, AF 525 under the UPDF. It is operating here in the country, yet it was banned at international level.
Is it a passenger plane?
Mr. Chair, I think
I'm just trying to help the members understand,
yes,
much as we are going to get a response, so that, okay, when they respond, I'm sure members will be able to.
I think the details can be given to us by them, but it's operating under UPDF Air Forces.
Okay.
And the registration number, I've read it to you, it is AF 525. That is how it is registered now here in Uganda.
Okay, they will respond. Honorable Nambeshe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's rather unfortunate I missed the first presentation. So my question is very quick to the last presentation. I'm interested in the cumulative expenditure of the hooping Mr. Chairman, whooping 968 billion. A budgetary allocation for upgrades of the regional aerodromes, the regional airports, particularly, of course, Kavarega International Airport. Up to date, the presenter, my question comes. Could you, I don't know, I think the presenter could have dispensed lots of justice to his presentation if it were a write-up that I had, of course, earlier insisted on. Because what I'm raising was actually conspicuously missing in his presentation. Moreover, this is extremely very important. Could we know the cumulative expenditure on the upgrades of these regional aerodromes, like the one of Arua? Of course, the one of Kabarega International Airport is 129 billion, which that one, you know. But the one of Arua, Gulu, Bakuba, Kidebo, Kisoro, Kavale, Kasese. And to do better, especially when you raised a rosy picture of the performance, you should also include the completion rates. The last question I have, Mr. Chairman, pertains to the helipads. Helipads are meant to understand these are designated flat surfaces for landing, for takeoff, for parking of helicopters. And normally these are facilities, Mr. Chairman, that are constructed on rooftops. I'm aware, and I'm sure this committee is aware, that Mulago was a priority for construction of such a helipad because of the emergencies that the referral hospital handles. Could we know whether in Uganda we have operational helipads, and how many you have designated as an authority? Thank you very much.
Honorable Walswaka.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, for record purposes, I came late. But Walswaka James are my names. I represent the people of Bunyole West from the mighty district of Tareja. And Chair, I also represent the interests of NRM and PLOU. No, Chair, I want to thank the Minister. I see my commissioner here is saying it's not relevant, but he might join us soon. So, Honour Chair, CAA, for some staff who are new, who are there, and the title Director General came when this very Parliament, 10th, handled the CAA bill, the famous one. Chair, I wanted to ask, the officer said that there is an incident and safety unit which is supposed to be in the Ministry of Works, which has not been done. This one goes to our honorable colleague, Honorable Minister. Can we know what it takes? Chair, this Kisanja is not as usual. And the DG with your staff, this is not as usual under our pressure group. So, Honourable Minister, can you tell this Parliament through this committee what it takes to get that? Because when people have accidents, Honourable Chair, and there is no investigation, the unit is not there, it defeats our system. Honourable Chair, when I go to the dates, they were saying that they are demanding 200, I think 33. Now, they talked of government debt and Uganda Airlines. Honourable Minister, Uganda Airlines is also government. So when you say government, we want to know. Are you also demanding Parliament? So if it's government, can you break down? And two, when I add the 91.7 plus 91.6 is around 183. The other difference, who is being demanded? We need to know. And for Uganda Airlines and these government people, through your Honourable Minister and our Chair, can we, at an appropriate time, as guided by the Chair, can we get to know the demand notes, whether you submitted? You may be demanding, but just talking, and you are not remaining someone. Honourable Chair, I was told, and indeed it was on social media, that some unpatriotic people, mafias, try to use some staff within CA to sniff out some either unauthorized goods. Honourable Minister, can you assure this committee and indeed the Parliament that such a thing will never happen, or it has not happened? Honourable Chair, the issue of Kabarega, the officer talked of, they want to procure, and he's saying to construct so that something is ready by 2027. 2027 is just months away. My proposal, during constructions, the contracts, you can flex within a certain percentage of the contract sum instead of going to advertise to make delays and maybe another loophole for siphoning money. Can't you just give this contractor of the airport just a simple addendum? Because just building a waiting center, it may be less than the PPA guideline of a certain percentage of the contract. And if not, Honourable Minister, instead of going to procurement, Honourable Minister, if this one may not be possible of an addendum, can't you try to go to the force account using the UPDF, Engineering Brigade, because time is going. Chair, I want to thank CA. I was in Jinja over the weekend. I was on my routine patriotic tour. And the airdrome, Honourable Chair, if you go there, the work has, I discussed with the Chabazinga, and the people are very happy. So, Chair and Honourable Minister, the officers mentioned the strategic Arua because of the three countries. But I don't know whether these officers, when things go to West Nile, North, they just ignore. Can we know, Honourable Chair, how you as a chairperson and our minister, how you can prioritize Arua? Chair, when Honourable Biriga, before he died, this is what he was thinking about. Can we honor patriotic people and do something? And especially when this airport will bring money, instead of putting things somewhere where there will be no money. And finally, Honourable Chair, I was looking at the letter which my sister was bringing. Honourable Minister, unless when we are prior to this letter, having got the letter now, and it has technical, bilateral, and fair security issues, I don't know whether you will be comfortable to respond, but from the top of the letter, Honourable Chair, you say it has no legal ground of operating. As an engineer, Chair, if a vehicle doesn't have a number plate,
It has no legal ground of operating, but you can drive it technically and it's safe. So, Honourable Minister, now that you have the letter, you can respond, but having guided and pointed out that, I don't want to go into that. And Honourable Nyakato, maybe you clarify. You say it is registered under UPDF. The way you supplied this letter, can we get the transfer of registration from either Justin to UPDF? Because, Honourable Chair, we may enter into something where we may have. So those are my reservations. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
I think that will be determined by the respondents. How, because under normal circumstances, there are several documents that were not given to us in regards to this letter, but that depends on how they respond. Then the committee can take a decision to probe it further. Honourable Boaz, you are not. And on the issue of the prioritization of Arua, we are the ones who do appropriation. So it is us who should do the prioritization.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is just a quick one. When I see on the challenges these guys are facing, they told us they have a problem of epidemic. And again, they further said they are well in touch with Ministry of Health. But as we talk of now, Ministry of Health is telling us that we no longer have cases of Ebola in the country. But when we check, we find that we still have some flights which are still suspended, like KLM, Emirates, Brussels, and others. So I don't know what could be the reason as to why we still have flights suspended and we are losing money for those flights not coming in on tickets and the things that they always buy when they are inside. So I just want to know the reason as to why we still have flights suspended when you say you are in touch with Ministry of Health and Ministry of Health is telling us they no longer have Ebola cases in the country. Thank you.
And you receive money to maintain these regional airports. About 3 billion. I know the one in Mbarara. I just know you are doing slashing. I don't know what else you are doing. Maybe utilities. Maybe you can inform the committee of what this 3 billion is doing. And slashing is seasonal. It's like a grasshopper. But maybe you can help us understand. Also, you are in charge. You are all within the Ministry of Works, CAA and Ministry of Works. What have you done to ensure we have a train connecting to the airport to decongest the road? And lastly, have you received any PPP from anyone to partner with us in developing the regional airports? Because I know about Mbarara, but that one is also a white elephant. It's an issue for another day. But have you received any other, a person, an investor, to come and help us? The members who are not asked, Honorable Byanyima first, then Honorable Sebamala. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable Minister. I must begin, of course, by thanking you for doing a good job. You have tried. We have come from very far, because that airport used to be one of the smallest and not organized. But my question is, somebody talked about the airworthiness of some of these aircrafts that are operating in Uganda. I saw the Deputy Speaker, what happened to him. With my own eyes, I thought we were lucky that they were Ugandans and they survived. What if they were really like guests to this country? What picture would we have? Two, you are relying on at times on government subventions, but you are too shy to say what you want. This is the disease with the Minister of Works, by the way. They all too shy to say you should be having your wishful list. For example, these people paid for a piece of land for expansion. This 2.something billion to Nagrik. You have kept what? These new members must get to know that you paid for land for expansion, 2.5 billion as you are talking, to Nagrik. Nagrik was supposed to record in Wakiso. They have never done it. That is government to government. Why can't we do it? Not a minister. Because you are talking of expansion, you don't have the land. And another issue is this, you talked, when we are going out, especially most of us members of parliament, we will go through the VIP. You can see how good it is. But there are quite a number of Ugandans who would want to have that type of, place and pay for it. That's why other airports get money. You pay money and you go into that VIP. You can have a separate one. Because when you go to this old airport, I know it's reserved for our visitors. But I remember especially you old people who have been there. When we were doing it during Chogam, we knew that would cater for the internal flights. Then the other one continues. So that you can avoid, when you're internal, you avoid that security check, the haggles. But that one has been taken over by the government, and you are not paid, and you are shy. The people who owe you money, the biggest, I think, is Minister of Foreign Affairs, isn't it? And Minister of Works. Can you imagine the Minister of Works? And they can't pay their own baby. Because you are shy. Tell us what you feel we could do
Honorable,
for you.
I don't know what measure you have used to determine the shyness.
No, I know. I have been with these people for long, you remember. One time we went to Kabarega. We are going with these people to, they take us a tour to Kabarega, this airport. We kept getting calls. We are there. We found nobody there. The committee toward the wrong, we were helpless. They had even refused access to that airport. That's how shyness comes in. Because why should Foreign Affairs owe you money? And the Minister of Works, and they don't pay. And you continue giving them services. Please put up a good case. Put up a good case. So that you can get money to expand and be a good airport. So far, so good. Me, I'm impressed because we have come from very far. But the issue of convincing, like somebody talked to the chairman, we have talked of PP, public-private partnership. You should be sourcing for those people to help us and cut on our costs of developing the airport. Otherwise, I am grateful. He mentioned of the issue of Umbarara. The president talked about it. To me, I'm sorry, it is fake. The people who are really talking of it, they're not genuine people. Much as we are desirous of having investors, we can't have these people who are fake, who would eventually take our piece of land in Sarara and run away and sell it to other people. So much as we are really very anxious to have so many investors, let's do a bit of due diligence. And you talk to the president about it. Because you have traveled very widely. Whenever I'm on the flight, you find somebody from civil aviation. You see how other airports are operating. So far, so good. But we need to put in more effort. I thank you.
Honorable Nathan and Honorable Emmanuel talked about the date. It is coming. Everyone is talking about the date. No, Honorable Nathan, we don't owe anyone money. As of December 2025, according to the Auditor General, your debt was 136 billion. As of now, the document you have presented, it's 200 and something billion. 233. Which means within a period of about 6 months, your debt has accumulated about 100 billion extra. So what will happen in December? Honorable Sevamala.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm sorry I'm late. I was cut off by media at home before I could leave. I know it's a bad habit to come late in your committee. I'm really sorry. I want to first and foremost thank CAA for the good work. At least we have an airport now. Thank you very much. We appreciate everything that you're doing. My questions might be a bit hard and personal, but you'll have to endure. That's Sebamara anyway. Honorable Minister, if we want to develop this country, we start with putting the right people in the right places and doing the right thing. I don't see your MD. I would want to know where he is. I am aware that he is sick. I want to know whether his sick leave was approved. I want to know whether you're paying him on sick leave, full pay, or I don't know, whatever. I want to know whether where he is out of the country he is receiving per diem, or he is on a medical something. I don't know whether his sick leave includes his annual leave. Basically, I want to know who approved this medical leave. Is it the medical review board? Is it your board of CAA? Basically, how is he out of the country for almost a year, and we are still in acting positions for a year? Why am I asking this?
Procedure, Chair.
Why am I asking this?
Procedure.
Procedure.
Thank you, Honour Chair. Honour Chair, you ably guided, unless when my senior brother, we are responding to the presentations from the minister. And I don't know whether we are proceeding well when a honourable member raises an issue which was not presented by the minister. I have the presentation here. The minister did not mention about the sick leave. And if he is in a sick leave, I don't know whether a member has a copy of the leave, the way Honorable Nyakato brought something. So, Chair, are we proceeding well when we discuss something out of the presentation by the minister? Honour Chair, all of us get sick. So I want your guidance, Honour Chair.
Okay, I don't think the honourable member is in error. I think we are proceeding well. I don't think he's going personal. I'm still listening, but I don't think he's going personal. I think he wants to understand issues to do with the law. Person being on leave, what is the status, salary, is it leave, is it, I think he had not concluded, but I don't think, as long as it falls within, moreover this is an ED, or is it DG? Director General. Is the Director General within the same organization. I think we are proceeding well. Only that I would advise him not to go personal and go straight to the issues.
Chair, thank you for your guidance. Chair, it is important that an entity like CAA has the right person doing the right thing at the right time. That's where I started. So I want to know the status of your ED. And I want you to inform this committee, because I don't want to keep, even next year or next financial year, to be talking to somebody in acting position. I don't want to talk about whether she's able or not able. That is for another day. The other issue that I want to know is, I heard you have a project called by Sharjah Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, let me just phrase, because I know there's media, just to phrase it for the benefit of the committee, his earlier question. In short, what he's asking is, what is the legal status of your Director General's absence?
Chair, you have guided well, but the other member was
No,
saying
I've just summarized the question. Of course,
whether the deputy ED is able or not.
he was.
Is it because
I'm sure there are
her
terms.
name comes from across the Nile?
No. I'm sure there are terms for someone to be on leave. I'm sure it's financial and legal. So the question is simple: what is the legal status of the absence of your Director General? That's what the committee is asking for almost a year. Honorable, you can proceed.
Madam Chair, maybe to substantiate, when you look at their capacity to execute mandate, the absence of the officer being absent is affecting their capacity. They said despite training and having other staff in place, performance still remains at 67.3%. So I think the honorable colleague is right to ask that question. And we need to be curious. Even me, I have 2 questions to ask, similar but not the same on that line. I beg to submit.
Honorable, please proceed.
Chair, Parliament approved a multi-year project to construct different things at the airport. At one time we were here and the fuel hydrant was taken out of the multi-year project plan and subcontracted to someone during COVID. We accepted. Now we have a new person, Shaldia Chamber of Commerce, wants to construct a multi-story parking. Why? Have we failed on our own income? Parking is something that does not even need to be subcontracted to someone, because you construct and you start minting the next day. It is one of the things that I know CAA is getting profits and is making money for CAA. Why are you choosing to subcontract it out to somebody? Does it mean you don't have money? Is it worth it to give it to somebody to build, operate it, and transfer it after 30 years? Is it a triple? Is it a PPP? What is it? Under what framework are you coming up with this? We already have money approved. Money that actually you have not even spent. I think you had spent 200 and something. You have a balance of around 125 million to come and see how to get it from here. You're already rushing to subcontract someone something that is profit worthy. Why don't you subcontract something that you have failed? Outsourcing is for what you have failed to work on, not what you're able to do. Have you realized there is money here and then fetched yourself a contractor and you want to get the money yourselves? So the issue of giving out this same thing happens to the lounge. Have you failed to construct a VIP lounge? And you're handing it over to the same person to build, operate, and transfer? These are places where we can actually just, because we have debt with the Chinese. Almost $1 trillion plus. Now, these are the places that we are supposed to get money, and we are going ahead to also subcontract them. Yet we can able use that loan, construct these places, then start getting money from there, and we pay back the loan. Am I saying something? Am I speaking English?
Yes, of course you are saying
sorry.
something.
sorry. I thought
you are saying something.
I thought I was. Now, the other status I would want to know. The president directed that 152 staff that were in CAA illegally be discontinued, with those that appointed them. How far is that directive? Are those 152 staff working? What is the status of those that appointed them illegally? Are they still working in CAA? Are they still receiving taxpayers' money with all that fraud? What's going on? Finally, I would want to ask something very small. You guys, is the procurement officer here? The minister is a procurement person and a director general. Now, I'm privy to information. I'm privy to information that your procurement officer came from UDC, had a case. The case was dismissed all through. The case was taken till Court of Appeal and it was dismissed all over. Is indiscipline transferable in public service? Do you leave one place, then you go to another place? Did you investigate the appointment? If you did, may we please have a copy of because everything in any entity starts with a procurement, isn't it? So I want to know how far, what happened? Did the board approve? If board approved, did they know that this person had left some other entity and was in court? What was the status? Now that goes with the 152. Otherwise, I want to thank you for I have not had any scandals at the airport recently. Thank you.
Those ones are old. Yes, Honorable, then we have 3 more people only and we can conclude.
Thank you, Chair. I want to make it clear that we are not attacking you, we are just... Hey, did you pick me?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. My name, once again, is Uchenn Geoffrey, Member of Parliament for Kyoga North. I've read the report, especially on areas of challenges. I've noted that the organization faces high capital burden that has made it difficult for them to accelerate infrastructural development and is noted in one of its challenges. So I wanted to find out whether they are engaging in, why can't they engage in public-private partnership to help them reduce those capital burden and also accelerate infrastructural development as they have stated in their report. And then also too, I've seen they have put their revenue projection for financial year 2026-2027. But they have not clearly indicated their strategies to make them achieve their projected figures. So my question is, what guarantee should we have that you are going to meet the target? And should you fail to meet the target, should we treat that you have given us unrealistic figures that you are unable to attain, and therefore the competencies in managing the organization should be questioned? And then 3, whereas in the last financial year you attained some surplus, I would want to know the strategies you have in place to improve operational efficiency, diversify your operation, and then increase on your surplus for this financial year. And then 3, in one of your challenges, you are also crying about limited land for expansion, but also their land, especially for Anai in Lira. Although it had some challenges, I wanted to find out, did you have the title before? Or because you're saying the community has encroached and other people, what plan do you have in place to have that matter fully sorted? And then lastly, we have aviation schools like Soroti Flying School and maybe others. Are those aviation schools within your statutory mandate? If so, what plans do you have to ensure that they meet their international aviation standards and also help train competent personnel internally within the country? Thank you.
Honorable Emma, Honorable Maju, Honorable members, we need to get responses. Only those two, then we can get the we have 30 minutes to get these responses.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We have talked a lot on expansion, and mostly the expansion of Entebbe International Airport. I want to raise the matter mostly on the land that was paid for to Maif or Nagrik to relocate. I remember there was about 2.43 billion that was paid to Nagrik. That was around the 20th of August 2019. And from that point to Nagrik. So up to now we are not seeing Nagrik transferring to the land you paid for them in Wakiso. So I want to ask, what are the challenges that's making you fail or making Nagrik fail to transfer to that land, yet the money was paid? Was a background check done to that land before, that we can have these challenges? Because we need to, expand. AFCON is coming next year. So, will we be able to handle all the volume? And then, what efforts have been made to hold meetings between Uganda, UCAA and Maif and Nagrik? What options do we have in case this is not going to happen? Because 2019 up to now shows there is no compliance in us getting that land for extension. Okay. Then the other bit I will leave it to my brother, but I want to ask, how are we prepared for the AFCON? Which I'll be having a lot of visitors, and then these airstrips, how are we prepared? I really want to know. I want to pass my other small time, and the other question I wanted to ask to my colleague. Thank you.
Honorable Maju, briefly. But what he's talking about is the 67.41 acres in Wakiso.
The 76?
67.41.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. So, Chair, just very briefly, we have been further interrogating this document, and on pages 11 and page 30. Specifically, we're just looking at, we're trying to calculate the return on investment. And Director of Finance, in addition to the questions I asked you, last year, you grew by about 1.8%, 2025-2026, based on your presentation, to 346 billion. On page 30, you are making a projection of total revenue of 402 billion. Now, that is a projection of about 16.2% from 1.8%. When you try to calculate it, it's giving you about, you want to increase by 780% from 1.8 to 16.2% in 1 year. I'm just curious to know, could you just explain the assumptions that are underpinning this projection? And also, if you could talk about I know the ED talked about the passenger growth rate, the tariff adjustments you're having, but could you just explain the projections that are underpinning this? And then lastly, Chair, for me, it's just an in-house issue, a matter of detail. When I look at this presentation, ED, it has so many fonts and font sizes. And it speaks a lot about the people you have who are doing some of these presentations. So I beg that the next presentation, it's an issue of detail. The next presentation, please, let's have people who have done some PowerPoint and the rest do for us something that is presentable of a committee like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. But in as far as the ECA growing, it's still debatable, because last year, end of last year, you registered a net surplus of about 18.2 billion, which is about a 43% decline. So I don't know what you're talking about. Honorable Sebamala, you are itching to say something,
Yes,
but make it very brief.
Very brief. You have Chidepo. Is it there's somebody that he's giving it to the president as a gift? Did they say they are giving a gift to the president when they are?
Who said?
So I was asking, what framework is it? Is it build, operate, and transfer, or build and transfer to the president?
I think
Yeah?
they were,
Build, because we don't understand under what framework you could brief us.
Let them
briefly.
respond. Honorable Fred, you are itching. Just very briefly, 1 second.
Thank you so much, my chair. I want to add my voice on an airfield or airport in Lira. I want to ask, does the authority have land in Anai for Lira airfield or airport? Because in Lira they are calling it airport, and it is a daily debate on the radio stations there. And if you do have it, the land, is this land titled? If it does, when was the title got? Because the title I saw, it is obtained in 2025. And it includes even the Tamaka Road from Apache going to Lira. It goes beyond the road. So meaning the road is part of the land for the airfield.
Okay.
I would like to get that from you. Then lastly, from me, you have businesses which are unfinished on slide 13. I would like you to list 12 of them, maybe in the report you will bring. And I would also want to ask, in the financial year 2025-2026, were these businesses unfinished, budgeted for? If they were budgeted for, I am asking, where is the money, the fund that were allocated to that? Chairperson, I want to thank you.
But on a lighter note, what do you call that facility? Is it an airport in Lille?
The authority will...
Okay. He's also asking about those 12 that were not completed. Were they budgeted for? And even the Auditor General, I remember, highlighted about 10, worth about 13 billion, that were not completed. So he wants information. Can we start getting the responses?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I want to thank the committee and the members for the responses that have come from your side in form of clarifications. Many issues have come up, which are also trying to enrich on how we are supposed to prepare ourselves probably in the future. But being the first meeting, this is a very good interface. I think we have to start somewhere, and we keep improving day in, day out. But we have picked out something good. I have a team of the technical personnel that I moved with, and I know most of the questions which were coming from the members, each person must have picked out an area that he would be able to help us and bring it to light to the committee. And Mr. Chair, probably will just allow me from whoever will be able to pick out just 1 or 2 minutes so that we can exhaust all these questions the members have raised. And I will start with the DGG, who will be able to help us pick out on policy areas, and then thereafter we will allow my Assistant Commissioner
notwithstanding. First, you are a new person there. I've been on the street with you. I know you haven't maybe even acclimatized yourself, but I would want you can quickly respond to what this powerful MP from Obukoto Central, Engineer Sevamara, I don't know which branch of engineering. Those ones you can respond, Honorable Minister, very quickly.
Yeah. I asked why I have made my team to answer these questions. I have what I can answer, but they have a detailed institutional memory. And that's why I want them to bring issues as they stand. As of now, you will allow me to permit my team to answer from the GG.
Okay. Thank you. Through you, my Minister. Thank you, Chair and members of Parliament. We will answer the questions according to the areas, and I know my members have picked, but I'll take on some of them very quickly. And I'll start with maybe those that came in last, especially on the MD. Chair, I want to confirm that the Managing Director is working. He actually comes in and goes for the checkups on his medical, but is in office. He left yesterday. He will come back in 2 weeks. So he is working. We've not had the 1-year period, through you, Chair, that we've had the Director General absent from office. And I also want to confirm to you, Chair and members of Parliament, that we are running smoothly, and there's no gap that has been identified, even with the situations where he's away for a week or 2. The other one, I think, prepared, that is Sharjah Chamber of Commerce. Through you, Chair, we have not signed any agreements with the Sharjah Chamber of Commerce in relationship to the multi-car park. I've been chairing that committee, and we agree with you, Honorable Sebayara, with your submission. We have not agreed, and as we speak today, that decision has not been made, and we cannot confirm that there is an agreement to hand over. So we are with you on that, and we'll be able to share some of this detailed information, Chair, if you allow, in a proper report on what has transpired, what has gone on, so that you have all the information with you. On the issue of staff who were dismissed, Chair, it's a total of 89 staff. And I want to add here that the 89 staff that were dismissed on academic matters. You could have entered Uganda Civil Aviation Authority with your O-level or A-level, but when verification was made by to UNEB, UNEB confirmed that in one of your submissions there was a forgery. Either you used somebody else's qualifications or you changed 2 subjects. So that verification was done thoroughly through UNEB, and basing on the UNEB submission, members were given opportunity to defend themselves, because the Employment Act is very clear. We didn't use the UNEB to dismiss, but they were given opportunity to come with witnesses, to explain, to submit. So the total of 89 staff, through your chair, have left Civil Aviation Authority.
So what you are
and they not
informing
working.
the committee is that you had 89 unqualified staff who did not have the required academic qualifications that went through the due process and you hired and have been receiving money. 89?
Chair, there are 89.
Mm.
But I will not say they are not qualified, and let me explain it. Wherever this, at whatever stage the forgery happened, it did not take away the training and further advancement of this staff. Some of these staff, if you look, the queries are on their O level, and maybe somebody wanted to have an A in a subject, or maybe to have a 6 in math in order to get a job, and went ahead and forged the O level. But thereafter,
now you are justifying an illegality with an illegality.
I'm not justifying.
We want to know, because they have been receiving taxpayers' money.
Yes.
What action have you taken? Because that is fraud.
Yeah.
But
Chair, there were
through your chair, Madam Deputy Director, when you say somebody who forged and you say is qualified, I think, Chair, you have found the chair very lenient and very religious. Chair, with that, can the ED through the minister, as they get the responses, maybe give us the list of staff?
And the report?
Yes, and the report and the list of staff and what the minister has done. And the chair, you give the time, because if you just say give, they may come in 2029.
What do you propose?
I propose the list. Yeah, by close of business tomorrow, they have brought us the list and what the minister has done. Okay. People are studying in Butareja, people are in Kampala forging papers.
Okay.
What does the law say? What action did you take? Because I think you're just covering up those members within you who hired these people.
Chair, what I can add is that once, and I want to confirm that that's actually forgery, and to tell you the action we took. When they went through the disciplinary hearing, we dismissed them. On top of that, Chair, we withheld their terminal benefits, because to us, much as they had worked for those years, they had worked based on a forgery qualification. So they never got their terminal benefits, and they were dismissed, and they are no longer working for Uganda Civil Aviation Authority.
I think that we're going to take that matter up, because it could also affect, at that time when they joined, it could also have affected us in as far as delivery of service. Performance, even this performance we are seeing now could be attributed to the history. So you submit that, the honorable members will decide on when to take up this matter. Submit your report.
Okay.
Chair, through you, just a very critical one. For me, on the other flip side of the coin, is the HR director
present?
And I don't know if he's the one who was, he or she is the one who was handling the whole process. If the HR director is still in the same position, then we have a bigger challenge.
Is he present here?
Through you, Chair, the Director HR is not here, but we have a representative.
Through you, Chair.
Honorable Pio, then
Through
Honorable
Chair.
Pio, just a minute, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. I would like, this is a very critical issue. We want to know, because you're talking of 89, have we verified that all the staff that we have are qualified? Because there are those who may have been able to pass through and yet they are not qualified. Secondly, what positions are we referring to? Because if you have an air traffic control officer who is not qualified, then this is really a very serious issue. So I want the Civil Aviation Authority to really come out very, very clearly. What about the others? Have we vetted and we are sure that they are qualified for their jobs? And two, what were the positions that of the 89 that we're referring to?
Honorable Chen, just you have raised you have opened the Pandora's box.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Through Chair, I want to ask the Deputy ED. You have dismissed them withheld their salary, but I was privy to the legal opinion of the Land Attorney General on the directive sometimes back of the IGG on staffs that were recruited without qualification. The IGG had recommended that despite their dismissal, they should face the law on the criminality of their action. Did you submit them for to the appropriate body for prosecution over their action? And then two, an organization like yours is mandated to do due diligence before issuing instrument of appointment. Did you do the due diligence on those staff? And are you, for staffs that you are currently recruiting, are you also doing due diligence to verify on their qualification and experience? Thank you.
But this is a serious matter. If you have 89 people enter your institution without qualifications and they have all forged, is it an A in math? And you have Ugandans crying, unemployed, they have studied. How we sure even all of us here, for example, if you have 89 in your organization, how are we sure all of you here? God forbid. All of you are clear.
Chair, some information. Chair, very
as you give information, you propose a solution on this, because we have several other questions.
Chair,
Honorable Swaka, then Honorable Bema.
The information and the proposal through you, at least all entities under us, instead of only UNEB, I think, Honourable Minister, you write through your PS and all the subordinate staff, all staff under your ministry. If somebody says he went to University X, you also write to the university. Somebody might have entered with the O level, which is okay. Then he went to NASA and got a university thing. So, Chair, we should not only end at the O level. Somebody might have sneaked O level properly, then he failed to, and then he went. So I propose that through you, the minister should also look at staff, even universities. You ascertain. Thank you.
You are proposing a forensic audit?
Yes, on the academic.
Honorable Emma?
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chair, to the Deputy Director General. Record us it that it is 152. And you're only explaining to us about the 89. The 63, you've not accounted for them. And you know, sometimes when we're dealing with the issue of civil aviation, it's a risky kind of, transportation. And when you employ for us people that are not, qualified for those jobs, that means you're telling people to sign their death warrants as they go to fly. The Director HR, through you, Chair, I would love the DGG to get us the Director HR. If it is the same HR still there, I would recommend really that through you, Chair, that the HR is held accountable and should first pave way for investigation. We cannot continue like this. This is shame to the country. Thank you.
But Mwesiji is called what? What is his official? Is he MD or Executive Director?
Onoguma is called Director General. You remember we changed
I know him.
Yes.
Fred Mwesiji. Now, you Ugandans, you are not like us here. I'm a member of parliament paid by government. If I mess up my portfolio, at least it will not result in 2 deaths. You guys, you are managing machines that fly in the air, you are responsible for a civil aviation authority that manages aircrafts and human beings that get in the air. So this country has very qualified personnel. If really you had 89 or 90 people that had flocked into the organization, how can we be sure, the statement actually the chairman touched on, that even you are very qualified? How can we be sure? I don't know whether it is within our mandate here as a committee to start asking for, we are really very sorry about this, asking, apart from Honorable Minister, Deputy Executive Director and others, how did they enter? Those guys, 89 Ugandans, how did they enter the organization? Infiltration or what? How did they get recruited? You people, where do you want to take this country? Civil aviation must be managed by competent and qualified people. If it is an engineering department, documents must be verified from recognized institutions in this world. You are not like an MP, me here, an MP I can mess up because I'm managing social, political things. But civil aviation, you are managing the lives of Ugandans and other people. So, now, Mr. Chairman, if it doesn't break our rules, we are going to ask for the qualification from MD. Yes. And how you got recruited. How did you enter civil aviation? Oh, sorry. Like the Honorable MP from Hoima, the document was talking about a helicopter. Is it a helicopter? Is it an aeroplane? Be very careful about that.
I guided her.
If it belongs to the army, maybe it has other...
Honorable.
So please, the question of qualification is not an issue of to compromise on. It has been brought by Engineer Sebamala and Mr. Chairman. Please.
Chair, just a point. Chair.
Just a minute.
Through you, Chair.
We need we have very many questions. This is a very extensive topic that will need a whole day with the entire department. I don't think you are going to get the response now,
Chairman,
without the HR department being present.
Chairman, I want to propose something.
Just an emphasis on
Just a proposal.
Just a minute, Deputy Chair.
Chair, someone once made a comment that air transport is the safest means of transport on the earth. But should anything go wrong, and he stopped there, these are the circumstances under which something can go wrong. I think let's recommend the entire staff auditing, human resource auditing. At the appropriate time, we'll come and discuss the report. Thank you.
And it's within our mandate, Rule 218 of our Rules of Procedure, to ask for any document that you may think is necessary. If it's the member's wish, we can ask for the qualifications of the entire CAA. I don't know from, I know it's from the DG, but to where?
Chair, proposal.
Yes. Honorable Chen.
I want to propose that the 8 staff that were dismissed over forgery be handed over to CID for appropriate investigation and prosecution where necessary.
Chair, in addition to that, I just want to re-emphasize, before we begin any process, I really want to emphasize, I've been in HR for the last 17 years, and I think the Director HR has failed on a very basic requirement of simply doing background checks. So, Chair, I really want to propose and emphasize, I want to emphasize that before we begin any process, let the HR Director first be put on Katebe before any process begins. I thank you.
Chair, I wouldn't go that way,
Honorable
Chair.
Fred.
Because the HR might have come when these people are already recruited.
Honorable Fred.
Thank you, Chair. As we look forward to meeting the authority again, I recommend that they come with some of the following documents. 1, human resource documents and human resource audit versus ICAO minimum staffing requirements. This will help us dig deeper. Next, latest ICAO USOP audit report and the corrective action plans. Next.
Honorable Fred.
Yes.
We had not concluded.
Oh.
You are moving. You have gone past the finishing line.
Sorry.
We'll request for those extra documents at the end. But since you have started, you conclude, and we.
Thank you, Chair. I was on the full list of 121 financial year 2025-2026 actions with actual percentage physical and financial performance. Next, aged debtors list as at 30th June 2026. The receivables, you indicated them there. Give us those debtors. Then the regional airports performance report 2025-2026 financial year. Then state the safety program level 4 implementation evidence and ICAO acceptance letter to that effect. Next, business continuity plan and security or safety incident logs for financial year 2025-2026. Then another document, business plan and procurement plan. And lastly from me, UCAA risk register with costed mitigation measures. I beg to submit.
Okay. We are going to request for the academic qualifications for every member of the top management, if I may call it top management. I believe everyone here is in top management.
Yes, Chair.
So the entire top management of CAA is requested to submit their academic qualifications not later than tomorrow. I believe you have these. Are you going to look for them as well?
Chair, we want to look for them because I wanted to add that following the forgery, the entire civil aviation members of staff have been verified. The verification has been at UNEB and has been at all the universities, whether in Uganda or outside Uganda, and that report is available.
That is good.
And the second one, Chair, going forward, all staff that are being recruited today, the process has to be done before. So we are saying there was a problem.
Deputy Director General, we were not requesting. We were instructing you to submit these qualifications
We shall.
not later than tomorrow at 6 p.m.
We will do that.
We're also going to request you to submit the report of the action taken and all these 89 people who are believed to have forged academic qualifications and at which level did they forge, but most importantly your action taken report, and it will inform the committee on when to invite you now for a more thorough interaction on this matter.
Chair, supplementary.
On
Just one. We have seen where they have said someone has worked 90% completion of the project on page 14, and that person has not been paid. Why do they delay to pay contractors up to that when someone has worked up to 90%? We would also require them to bring the status report of the ongoing projects.
Is this part of the issue we are handling?
it is part of their report, but supplementary to the documents which they can come with, because it's very important.
Okay, but normally get to that point at the end, but you can finish.
Thank you. The status of the ongoing projects, their sources of funding, how much so far they have been able to pay some of these contractors, and their project scope, when they are going, the time scope, when they are going to be completed, so that we avoid the mistakes of making contractors do work, complete them without being paid, because someone is demanding for 1.28 billion from Civil Aviation Authority.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I hope it's also not a document. We are concluding this matter. They have very many questions to respond.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Boaz and Honorable Opio.
It's just a small supplement that you may say the top officials and they bring those ones. We need also those of their deputies, because in their absence, the deputies takes over. And to me, when you read the Penal Code Act 343, it spells out the penalties for someone who forges the document. So I think the other 87 who already fall as the culprits of this forgery of these documents, they can be handed over to police for further management, because the punishment does not only stop on being dismissed. I submit.
That is a recommendation we shall make after we have thoroughly analyzed the documents, because it is two-sided. Who employed them? Much as they believe they have been terminated, there is also the person who employed an entire department, actually, that participated in the employment. We'll end up looking for the adverts. How were these jobs advertised? Where were they advertised? Who was part of that committee that vetted? So it's a very, we cannot take a recommendation now. This is a topic that will be handled on a separate day. Honorable Pio, last year.
Thank you, Chair. In regard to the action taken report, these 89 people could have had some of them who are working in key positions, technical positions, making decisions such as approvals of licenses, airworthiness of aircraft. We also need in that action taken report a status of the decisions, or a review of the decisions that these people took. If somebody approved a license, for example, for an aircraft, then we need to ensure that those decisions have been reviewed, whether to find out whether they are still valid or they are invalid. Because if they are not qualified, then validity of the actions and the decisions that they took need also to be reviewed, especially the critical decisions. So it will be important in the action taken report, they clearly clarify whether they have reviewed some of the critical decisions that those persons who are not qualified took, and whether they are still valid, whether they need to be reviewed and reconsidered. Thank you.
So as you submit the list of those 89, we want to know the positions they held and for a period of what time. Can we have responses from the other questions?
Chair, I beg for your indulgence. Chair, your
I believe
indulgence.
those people are about 152, not 152. Not 89.
Chair, I beg your indulgence. Honour Chair.
It's honorable.
Honour Chair, what I was thinking is that every person who entered had an advert. You may see some others might have entered without advert. Just maybe phone call. So, as you submit maybe Waluswaka, you should know how did Waluswaka enter Parliament. There was an advert from Electoral Commission. So, as they submit, they should submit even the advert. If it was not there, then they say how. The advert will specify how he came and the qualifications. Because right now, because of maybe change of knowledge, they may want somebody now to be deputy DG to be having a PhD. But maybe by the time the advert came, it needed the master. So it will guide us. Thank you, Chair.
The HR department should prepare in its defense all those documents. Once we have the list and the specific offices these people are holding, the HR department should prepare to come and defend each of those 89. If they're 154, we don't know, but at least we are sure now they are 89 from what they are giving us. Honorable Semawali, you asked this question. Conclude.
just something brief. You said the diggy has been here the whole year. I just want you to give us a record of when he has been around and when he has gone for treatment for the past 1 year.
Chair, I request that will be part of the report, because the DHRA will then go into the record and be able to share it with you if it's acceptable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can we proceed? I hope you had clear, not later than tomorrow by 6 p.m. Kindly proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I'll then take on the one that came in with the letter, the aircraft. Chair, I want to request that you give us, because this is a sensitive matter, I can confirm that we have received it. We have had meetings with the military and the verifications are going on. One, to ascertain whether this specific aircraft is the aircraft within Uganda, but this is under the military, and once we get that information, Chair, we'll share with you, but sensitive information.
Honorable Nakato, are you comfortable now? Being security sensitive?
I'm comfortable, but being security sensitive, we should also put in mind the security, the safety of our people. Whether they
is this
are
a commercial
whether
flight?
they are military,
No.
their lives matter a lot.
What is the status of this flight? Is it a commercial, a cargo?
Chair, it is not. It is not.
It's
So
not cargo and it's not
no
passenger.
It's not passenger.
What is
Chair.
it? A kite?
We will find out with the usage on what it's being
Chair,
used for,
I
if it
propose.
is there.
Okay, but once they are done with that investigation, they will share with the committee, and we shall.
Chair, I propose that
we shall have a.
Chair, I propose, Chair, that since it is defense, you will liaise with the committee of Chair of Defense, and you will guide us.
It's physical infrastructure, it's transport, it's works. But when they are done, we shall have a meeting, since it is security sensitive and in-house, and we take a decision. Yes. I think it is okay, members. Okay?
Chair, on Aviation, I want to confirm that a preliminary investigation report has been provided. It's being reviewed, but still that incident has been treated falling under military, because that travel was cleared through military on a state official. So that report, Chair, will also be shared with you, and then you will determine how it can be utilized.
Honorable Nyakato, are you okay?
You see, Chair, she has said it that the aircraft which our former Deputy Speaker of Parliament and now the Deputy Speaker still, Taebwa, got a crash in a military aircraft. Again, the same issue is coming up of the same aircraft which is being now taken to the same. Do you mind the lives of our people? Away from saying they are security, they are human beings. Many of them are brothers, our sisters, our friends, and despite the department that they are in, we mind about their lives a lot. So, Mr. Chair, may I still, because this is issues of transport infrastructure, this committee is mandated to ensure that we together with the authorities which are in charge, mandated with this work to ensure that there is quality, but also regulation, they abide by the regulations, international standards. If at international level they say this aircraft was condemned, why do you go on to accept it to occupy our space and continue operating? And you say you are with issues of safety, issues of regulation, issues of security, you are in control.
Honorable, just a question.
I want, as I conclude, I still want to ask the ED, is he in charge of this aviation authority, or someone else is in charge?
Okay, the ED has said she's going to submit the documents. The crash that happened in Mitoma, wherever it was, Honorable Nyakato, do you know the cause of the crash?
That's why we requested the ED and the team.
And that's why we are requesting for the report. Would you want to take action on your recommendation even before you have seen the report? Okay. So let's wait for the reports and we can discuss as a committee.
Mr. Chair, I think we should give them time frame. More so on that of that recent crash of the speaker. It has taken long. It was since 2024. They said they were coming up with the report. To date, there is nothing which has been provided to the committee. Whether the Committee of Infrastructure then, 2024, 2025, now 2026, it is a long-awaited report where they need to act and bring it as soon as possible.
Idi?
Chair, as I stated before, the military took over the investigation because of the nature in which the Deputy Speaker was traveling. But I also want to add that even under ICAO, the aircrafts with military registrations should ensure compliance with ICAO Article number 3 for state aircrafts. So even them, they comply with certain requirements of aviation. But Chair, as you guided, we will follow up the report and we will submit this report to you.
We need timelines. The Honorable Member is...
I'll verify from our Safety and Security Directorate and see if we can submit it next week, if it's within our control. But if it has the military, Chair will still come back to you and let you know what it requires, so that we don't promise something that's not within our control. But
Okay.
we commit, Chair, to do that.
Members, are you okay?
Madam Chair, the ED is insinuating competency doubtness. If something is not within your mandate, it is clearly stated in your appointment. If it is within your mandate, you go ahead and do it. I beg to submit.
Okay, can we give them up to next week to have these reports? It's okay?
Chair, I think next week is okay.
Okay. Honorable Semama?
Chair, how do we measure what is and is not in her control?
Because she keeps referring to a military component, I think that's why she's skeptical.
Well,
but
how
what
do
we
we-
want is a report.
How does she want us to measure that?
Chair will have that in the report. We'll show you what does ICAO give, where do our rules start and stop, and what responsibilities each of us have. We'll do
Okay.
that in the report, and we'll give more information. Thank
Okay,
you,
let's
Chair.
proceed.
Chair,
So you give that, you submit that report by Wednesday next week, both reports.
okay, that's fine, Chair.
Okay.
We'll get them, yes. The other one, because we are starting with the first ones, Chair, preparedness for AFCON. There, Chair, I want to confirm that one, Entebbe International Airport, which is the gateway, will be ready for AFCON. The new terminal building will be ready. We have 24 counters at the new terminal building. We have self-check-in counters. We have 3 bridges. So the image and speed and operation efficiency when we are receiving the delegates for AFCON through Entebbe International Airport will be ready. The second one, Chair, which I want to go into detail, is Kabalega, which has already been presented, which is also ready, waiting for the passenger terminal building. So on AFCON, I want to confirm that we are ready to receive the guests. Okay. There are other areas which are financial. I'll ask the teams from the different sections
Madam
to
Chair,
respond to those.
before the ED proceeds, she mentions Entebbe and Kabalega. How about Akibwa?
Chair, I'll ask the General Manager, Entebbe International Airport, to speak through other aerodromes that are supposed to be prepared for AFCON.
Thank you, Chair. With regard to Achibwa, of course, the airport in Gulu is supposed to...
Kindly switch on your microphone. Oh, get it closer.
Chair, with regard to Achibwa, we had prepared the project for upgrading Gulu, but as you recall, the Achibwa Stadium came in late because the focus was on Nambole and the Hoima. And as of now, we are preparing to have a training that will take place there. And we are not doing any serious improvements as of now. However, the project for upgrading Gulu had progressed. But I don't think it will be a project that will be delivered in time for AFCON.
The why is missing.
Chair, of course, I think while it went a little off on the radar, but the project itself will require enough time to work on the infrastructure. But the current infrastructure as it is, we are doing some small improvement. It will be able to receive traffic, but in a domestic nature that will facilitate the players that are going for training.
Just help us clarify this, sir. Gulu, and I'll give an example of Gulu. It was scheduled to have been completed last year. Am I correct?
Gulu as a Chibwa or the airport?
The airport.
No, because we actually just started a tender process, and the Minister of Finance was sourcing for financing. So we didn't have the definite timelines.
Did you award the contract?
The contract was awarded.
Before you got clearance from finance?
It was a requirement at the time for us to source the contractor, and the contractor was sourced. Meanwhile, the financing was going on.
You source a contractor, you sign with the contractor before even you are sure of the funding. Is this what you are telling us?
It is not a signed contract. No, we didn't sign.
Then how come the Auditor General has flagged it as a contract that should have been executed last year and is about 9 months late?
Well, we do not know, but at least as far as we know, we do not have a contract executed with the contract.
Honorable Fred.
Thank you, Chair. It is quite horrendous to hear this from technocrats. Dear Chair, the distance from Gulu to Lira, where training, as he says, for AFCON will be taking place, is 126 kilometers. That is from Gulu Airport or airfield to Akibwa Stadium. How will then the players be moving from Gulu to Lira? Lira itself has an airfield, but as you have said, it went off the radar. How did it go off the radar? Maybe the ED will answer that. I think I do not want to believe that this is technically done to deprive the region of the would-be revenue. Local economy there would improve. But this is no longer insinuation. It is a naked truth that Akibwa will not host AFCON as per your delivery. This is sad. It is completely pernicious. Let us really get serious.
Chair.
I beg you for it.
Honorable Sebamala, then Honorable Opio.
I want to re-echo something from you. Did you say you sent in expressions of interest before getting money? Did you just say that?
I think let us get this right through, Honorable Chair, that government had identified a contractor that was supposed to do 3 things: the Achibwa Stadium, the road that connects Lira to Gulu, that cuts the distance shorter to about 53 kilometers, and then the airport. The airport was first tracked, the stadium was first tracked, and then we had the road, and then the airport as a single project. And the procurement for these two were undertaken through a directive, and when the Attorney General cleared those contracts, he conditioned them to availability of financing. The financing model, I think, changed from being contractor sourcing to Government of Uganda. And as for us as an agency, we have been waiting to be cleared so that we go ahead and have a contract signed and hand over the site. Now, that's where it is. Honorable Chair, I would think it would be important if we dive deeper into this issue, because we are an enabler, and the project pushers have been the Ministry of Education and Sports and the AFCON Technical Committee. To whether they will be playing in Achibwa or not cannot be an issue to be answered by Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, because ours was to make the airport ready. But for the reasons I've stated, Chair, we have not been able to be cleared to proceed to sign the contract and hand over the site to the contractor. And that's the status.
On 24th July, did you sign a contract worth 765 billion?
Honorable Chair, we have never executed a contract.
So what was the 765 billion for? Under Gulu and Soroti?
No, that one, to the best of our knowledge.
Finance is here. Why are you quiet?
We don't have that.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. It is not 760, that is 780 million. The projects we're talking about, Soroti and Gulu, that were not executed. These were routine maintenance contracts, the one that are in the Auditor General's record. It was not about the development. Actually, the one of Gulu, why it did not take place was because in the process, as the contractor was going to take site to do the routine maintenance.
So
that's when...
Okay, 700, let's assume it's not billion, it's million. What was it for?
Jumra? The Soroti and the Gulu.
Chair, yes, now it is made clear by our engineer here. It was not to do with those projects. These were routine maintenance activities.
Okay, you maintained that airfield for 700. What did you use it for?
The money was, it is millions.
Even if it is million, what did you maintain at the airport worth that money? At the airfield?
These funds were meant to do resurfacing of the access roads and reconstructing the car parks, and as well as the maintenance of the access to vital firefighting stations.
But the station has not been completed up to date.
Chair.
This project, Honorable Chair, was concluded. The only bit of change was when this project of Gulu came on board, because it was a comprehensive project. Then we deferred the component for Gulu, because then the entire outlook of the airport was going to change under an upgrade. So in our view, it would be nugatory to go and do a small activity, then tomorrow you only do paving way for a bigger project.
So you held the money waiting for the bigger project?
Yeah, we did not utilize.
Where is the money? You sent it back to the consolidated fund?
Chair, it was internally funded, so the funds are with us.
You are keeping them?
Yes.
Chair.
Honorable
Chair, first of all, Chair, you're a very good chair. I don't know where you get this information. I was trying to look at our secretariat to get information. But Chair, amongst the documents, since this one is critical, I think they submit to you. And also, Honour Minister, there are statements your people bring, and they bring fire. For example, if an officer says that I think Akubua will not host, Akubua Stadium is not an ordinary stadium. It's where Obote came from.
some of these statements, Honourable Minister, tell your people, it is you or the Prime Minister to say whether they will host or not. Otherwise, you will put this country to riot. Thank you.
Just information, Akibua, Honorable, Akibua is it's like an emergency stadium in the requirements to host. It is a requirement for you to have an alternative in case there is a problem with the other one. But the primary stadium is Hoima. Honorable Pugh.
Chair, this Akibwa issue is very critical. The Pamoja bid which government used to secure hosting rights clearly indicated that Akibwa Stadium will host AFCON. That was very, very clear. And it is on that basis also that government committed funds. Parliament has approved over 1 trillion shillings for AFCON. Now they are saying they don't have money for the airport. Yet we have approved the money. Again, they are saying that the procurement process was initiated. How can you initiate procurement without money? Solicitor General has cleared, Ministry of Works has cleared, and then we say that there is no money. Chair, I want to appeal, tomorrow as we meet Ministry of Works, we need them present, we also need education present. The Akibwa issue cannot just be made as a statement here that we will not host AFCON. This was a commitment. If they have changed, then they have to kneel down and apologize to the people of Lango. Because the commitment was made to AFCON. The commitment was made to the people of Lango. Resources were appropriated. Procurement processes were initiated. Now we are told that Akibwa cannot host AFCON.
No, Akibwa will get all the facilities, including that airport, because it is a requirement. The issue of hosting, you can, in the previous parliament we discussed, it's a requirement for you to have an alternative, which must have similar facilities as the other primary option. But
Chair,
he said they use that
supplementary.
I just want to follow up on what he was saying, because he says they had 760 something, they spent some of it and they kept some of it. Do you spend at source? You spend at source?
100%.
100%. But you're audited by the Auditor General.
True.
So all this money, the longer you keep it on the account, which account do you keep this money? Does it generate any interest?
Yes, it does.
And how do we account for the interest it generates?
Honorable Chair, when you look at our projected income, it is also accounted for.
So you are fixing money for development?
Not necessarily.
Because you have kept it saying you are waiting for?
The unused money.
Mm.
Yes. It is not going to be used. We as of closing the gaps of our budget.
So you fix money to generate more revenue, rather than providing facilities?
Not necessarily. You are saying that, for example, if I had a contract of 2 years.
Do you have a letter from the PSST exempting you from remitting money from the consolidated fund?
No, I know who does it. Uganda Wildlife Authority does it, but they have been authorized officially. So I'm asking, do you have that authorization?
We shall check, but we derive the mandate from
there's an accounting officer, I believe.
Chair, we will check, but I believe we have
I don't believe. Do you have it?
As I said, Chair, will check and get back to you. And get...
Anything else? Yes, Honorable Semamala?
I still want to get this thing of procurement. So somebody comes, says he's going to do all these projects, he's given, he signs the contract, then along the way he cannot do part of it. Is it what you just said? And that what he cannot do falls under government of Uganda now?
You are referring to the maintenance?
No, I'm referring to
Gulu.
The Gulu, then Akibwa.
Gulu.
Just briefly, such that we can go to something else.
Gulu was an EPC plus finance
project,
but along the way.
Along the way, 50%, 60%.
No. We never signed any contract. No contract was executed.
So there is no contractor?
No.
No, did you procure a contractor for the work and there is no money, or there is no contractor completely?
We procured a contractor, but we never signed a contract.
He did say no.
Under the EPC plus F or independently?
Because we procured a contractor independently.
After EPC plus F had failed?
Along the way, the Ministry of Finance changed the financing arrangement.
Yes.
Said they would instead source for funds from elsewhere because the proposed financing was expensive.
Yes.
So now, at the time we've concluded the procurement process, we sought for clearance from the Attorney General. The Attorney General conditioned us signing a contract to confirmation by Minister of Finance that the money would be availed.
So at the moment it is Minister of Finance that has not given you money?
Exactly.
But for you, you had the EPC plus F failed.
Failed.
Can we, Chair, find a way of pushing for them to get this money?
No, that money will be released. The challenge is they are going to release it and they will stampede us with direct procurement because of time. Then
we have a contract.
they have a contract. Because we can put it under AFCON money.
I believe that money is provided for. It is a requirement for that that facility to be ready. Let's we can do a follow-up question. But how much? Okay, how much did you save from that 700 and keep in your account? Because you are saying we did some access slash.
Did the work, but as I said, the component of doing the access road to the firefighting station in Gulu could not proceed for the reason that we are going to upgrade the airport.
So how much did you save?
I don't have those figures, Chair, with me here, but we can avail the figures.
CAA.
Chair, it takes us back to the request requiring them to bring the status report of all the ongoing projects, how much so far they have been able to complete, the sources of funding we also know, because now we sought the monies which are going to Hoima City Stadium and Kabalega. Also, Akibo has been getting. Now we are only learning from the civil aviation that they have not gotten any money. No. So that would be the best way, Mr. Chair.
Akibua's financing is readily available. The issue is the airport.
Chair, the airport and the road.
And the road.
Those are the issues.
You say that the access road.
There are access roads, but also the road that links Gulu City to Lira City. Kona Yer, Kona Bohe Road, a 55-kilometer road.
Yes.
No, Moro.
Can we proceed? Honorable Boaz, you are itching. I don't want you to...
No, thank you, Chair. It's just because I was seeing the manager answering questions of finance when we have the full director of finance. So I really get perturbed with such a kind of things happening here in front of us. The full person who authorizes the spending, incomes and everything is here, just eyeing at us. Then the manager is suffering, surely.
Please stop eyeing at us. Can the gentleman who was responding, you tell us, since we asked the question, the 3 billion that you used to rehabilitate these upcountry airfields, what do you use it for? Or you also kept it, you sent it back?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The aerodromes that I mentioned, 13 in number, are non-commercial to CAA, and as such they are supposed to be operated on a government subvention that comes through Ministry of Works and Transport, and this money is released quarterly. Chair, whereas we require quite colossal amount of money if we are to maintain those facilities to the required standards, the funds from government has been dwindling down year in, year out. To the current year, it's only about 825 Uganda billion shillings, million shillings that has been made available. So it is not even the 3 billion we are talking about. The commissioner in charge of infrastructure services is here with us. He can.
So it is lower, but you are still maintaining.
It is lower, so in a way we encroach on the resources from generated from Entebbe, contrary to the IKO and IATA dictates. Otherwise, the money that is generated from a given airport is supposed to improve service delivery within that airport.
But sir, you still get from within CAA to cover the gaps of government. So what are you doing with that money? That's a simple question.
No, the money, Honorable Chair, maintains those facilities.
Yes, what do you do? That's what we want to know.
The money meets ground maintenance of the aerodromes. That is cutting of grass, which is done on a monthly basis, and sometimes done every 2 months depending on the weather patterns. Then we also do mechanized maintenance of the runways, because most of our runways, as you are aware, honorable members of parliament, the runways are still gravel. So these are maintained annually, particularly following heavy rains, because the gullies are developed on those runways and those are not friendly with aircrafts. So we keep maintaining those gravel runways. We do the cleaning, we do the maintenance of fences. We sometimes construct new fences where they need replacement, and we also meet the utilities and the services that goes with providing the service to those small aerodromes.
You give us a breakdown of all the money you have spent in the last 5 years on all these upcountry you call them, are they?
Aerodromes.
My colleague said airfields.
Through you, Chair.
Yes, Honorable. Not later than tomorrow. I believe you have these details.
Through you, Chair, I just sometimes when when he's talking about the 780 million about maintaining 3 aerodromes, you see, that is too much money. Do you realize how much 780 million is? And you're telling us about slashing after 2 months, that interval. We'll put it in perspective, for Christ's sake. Do you think that will account for 780 million? In perspective, reality. There is wanting to be book smart, but there is reality. Let's stop being about book smart, doing accounting, and then you push us papers. What is down there? I mean, let's look at that most. We need to save this country from this, virus called corruption. Thank you.
Honourable Chair. Honourable Chair, I want to thank you. And Honourable Minister, as I told you, I want to beg the indulgence of the Chair. I request, Chair, that you outer maybe they bring by Monday, unless when the ED says it is comfortable, by tomorrow, because the whole day almost they are here by the time they go this jam. So I want to request, and the Honourable Minister, you guide your members. Every word they talk here has legal, financial and technical implications. And I told you this is not business as usual. I told you I represent interests of the ruling party and PLOU. So when you say tomorrow and tomorrow documents don't come, Madam ED, I want to submit. Chair, I request that maybe by Monday. My humble request. Thank you.
These are details of accountability they have. They don't need time to manufacture. I believe they have them in their offices. So tomorrow, not later than 6 p.m., this document should be the clerk.
Chair, they should also avail us with the civil aviation master plan so that we know exactly what they have in plan for the authority vis-a-vis our expectations from them.
Okay, any other document you want? Let us, since we're into this business, which other document do you want them to come with? Yes, Honorable? Microphone.
Because some of the projects are coming from the previous financial year. To me, we need a procurement plan of the other year and the one that we are approving, you approved for this financial year. We want to get a linkage and see whether some projects are not crossing over, whether you are using a rolling procurement plan. We want to understand properly, because many projects seem to be stalling, and we are just stating this is ongoing, this is stalled. What are the reasons? They are not coming out clearly in our report. And in the future, my view, Mr. Chairman, let the report capture saliently the areas of procurement, because this is where the most abused area, where 80% of the funds in organizations pass through procurement.
Chair, another document I want to request through you. They talked of constructions, and I would request through you if they can bring the structure and architecture drawings, and maybe geotechnical we also try to look at. As we go to monitor, we can also have the feel. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Semama.
How much do we need to do the 55 kilometers, and how much do we need, engineer? For is it Akibwa?
For Gulu?
Yeah.
The road.
The road and to
between Lira and Gulu.
Yeah. That is not yours, eh? It is UNRA.
Honorable Maju, they'll be here.
Chair, I think in addition to the information we requested for HR, we'd also like to see the manpower plan for the previous year and what they have for this year, the previous year and this year. Then relatively, it would also be good to know, besides the exits that we have mentioned here that were terminated because of those issues, it would be good to also see your report on exit and recruitment for the 2 financial years, that is last year and then what you have this year. Thank you.
Okay, any other document, members? Honorable Fred.
Thank you, Chair. I think to move faster, I'm going to break them down. 1, the ICAO audit documents. ICAO audit documents. Number 1, the latest USOP audit report. That is still under ICAO. Number 2, the latest USAP audit report. This is assessment on Uganda's security oversight. Then 3, corrective action plan, CAP. Number 4, ICAO correspondence on SSP level 4 that you mentioned. So evidence of acceptance or validation. Then category number 2 is infrastructure project documents, and the following. 1 is infrastructure project matrix for all the 108 actions that you mentioned you took. I will not now detail them, but they will have the project name, the contractor, original start date, original completion date, revised completion date, percentage physical progress, percentage financial progress, cost to completion, liquidated damages if applicable. Number 2, Entebbe Airport expansion documents, which will detail the terminal works contracts, cargo center contract, running works contract, payment certificates, delay notices, verification orders.
Honorable, I think you share with the clerk, and they put all of them formally in.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Can we respond to a few more? You have 5 minutes. We're going to request you to put everything in writing. You need a whole day with us. We'll schedule a day in the near future. After we receive this information, I internalize it and schedule for a whole day. Normally, organizations that spend at source have issues in procurement. From my experience with UWA, I believe that's where the challenges are. So we need a full day with you, really. So you submit all the documents we're going to request for. We'll schedule you in not later than 2 weeks to appear. Okay. You kindly respond to the few you can. The rest want them in writing because there will be follow-up questions the next time we invite you. It's 10 minutes to 1. We hope you can finish in 5 minutes. Members, is that okay?
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to request, because there are certain documents you needed by tomorrow. There are some that can even be availed today, like for staff, but there are those that are like structural designs and that need to be photocopied, printed. It may take us time. So I wanted to request that there are those that can be availed immediately tomorrow, but you request for time to submit others on Monday so that we have a thorough
Can we give you up to Monday by close of business, submit all?
Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. I will now ask Director Finance to just talk about the finance 2 questions that were raised.
Deputy Chair wants.
Thank you, Chair. Now on the issues of accountability, we have agreed that we are going to receive the comprehensive responses in writing. But like the Chairman has noted, organizations that spend at source normally have issues of accountability. They are used to block accountabilities. We received 100 million shillings and used it all. Next year we expect to get 150 million, we shall use all. They want to do their things in blocks. But straight to the questions I asked, the procurement process of Arua Airport and the general important timelines of all these other procurements for the other projects, then how sophisticated are the proposed screening equipment going to be? Those are questions whose answers I needed before adjournment. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. You can answer the finance one. I'll answer the one of screening.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, there was a question on the financing. The first one was the projection seemed to be so sharp compared to the previous one. Honorable Chair, in the documents we are going to give you our detailed budget book that explains that. You will note that we have a number, more special on the commercial revenue, that is non-tax revenue. We have a number of assets that we are putting into use that have been completed. So we expect income from it in terms of rent, in terms of concession. So that's where the sharpness comes in. The other one is the profitability or not profitability. It also came out. Yes, we have been profitable, and you noted that our profitability went down. Me as a finance person and working with the public sector, I look at profitability different. I look at service provision against profitability. Now, what we do, if you look at our budget, our current expenditure is projected to be 311 against income of 402, implying that there is a 90 billion. The question here is, where do we put the 90 billion? We are cognizant of that. The 90 billion is directed to the development bit of it, improving infrastructure, working on aerodromes. You are aware that aerodromes we budget for 3 billion, but we don't get the 3 billion. So where do we get the money for Jinja, for example? Where do we get money for Ksoro? It is this that I request that in the documents we add on the business plan and the detailed budget book that will explain that. Then the other one is on Sharjah. I also need to add my voice on that. Yes, a lot has been talked about the multi-story car park.
I also confirm that as a technical person on that committee, no contract has been signed because of the terms the developer came with, and we put our foot down and said, no, this is how we are performing, this is what we want, you either meet this or we don't sign, and that's where we are.
Okay.
No. If we can meet what we are getting, because that comes with a directive. So, but for us, we are saying whether the directive or not, this is it.
Chair, I'll request the General Manager to respond on the one of Arua that the Deputy Chair asked for. Sam?
Through the, our head of planning and development, Engineer Ronald, is the project coordinator for this project. Chair, I would request that possibly he gives us the update.
Okay.
General Manager needs to get a Parliament ID. He's going to be coming here a lot.
Thank you, Chair, and honorable members. As you are informed, we secured a loan from the African Development Bank to develop Arua to the international airport level. The way the bank works, the loan was approved by their board last month, and I understand it has to come to Parliament for approval. However, the bank has an opportunity of doing advance procurement. So we applied to the bank requesting them that can we start the procurement process such that...
Did we approve that money towards the end of last financial year? Yes. I am aware we approved money. The project manager.
Chair, what I'm sure of is that the bank approved the loan, so the money is available. There was actually almost a threat that we were going to lose that money. It is approved. There is advance procurement approved, and now we are working on the documents, the bidding documents as per the bank standards, to publish them and call for tenders. And that process, the specification was on the timeline. I hoped that by the end of this month I would have had the documents ready. However, Chair, I am being delayed because also I am procuring a procurement specialist to help us in complying with all the bank requirements. But I can ably tell honorable members that before August ends, the notices for the contract for works and contract for the supervisor should be in the papers, and they will be in the papers. There are other components, Chair, within the project of working directly with Arua City, because the argument within the project was, if you develop the airport, it will come with other influences around the city. So we need to prepare the city to be able to benefit from this project. So these are elements that we also will have to work on. But the works and the supervisor, their cost is much higher than the others are smaller projects. The focus is on the works as well as the supervision. I beg to submit. And the project, the project is supposed to be a four-year project.
Okay, honorable members, we have run out of time. You have to prepare for House. I beg your indulgence that we receive all the other submissions in writing and schedule another full day with the UCAA. Anyone with a contrary view? I want to thank the Honorable Minister. And you said you can come even tomorrow, so you never know if we discuss and agree. I hope you still stand by that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chairman and the committee. We want also to thank the committee for this interactive interface that we have had. very informative. We have received comments that require clarification from us, and as we have pledged, we are going to put it in writing. After the submission, I know the chair will again invite us to come and interface, and probably after that we shall also ask you to organize with the agency so that we can visit some of these places, and we have the personal touch physically, which would also give us to appreciate the development which is there. Otherwise, thank you so much, and we shall be awaiting again an invitation.
Thank you. We have money to come and visit. Don't prepare for us. We have everything we need. When we are ready, we shall inform you. So, members, allow me to close this meeting. I want to thank UCAA for the time, but we are looking forward. Whatever we do is in the interest of the country. In the next meeting, hopefully things don't get tough, but if they get tough, we are doing it in the interest of the country. We have served, we will serve, and will be of service. Thank you, and I wish you a good afternoon. Just an in-house. 5 minutes. Media, kindly allow us to have an in-house for 5 minutes. Honorable Minister, you don't walk alone. Honorable Aluswaka.